Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome in on a Friday morning. What a night for Puka Nacua. Man, I'm sure he irritated some referees, but that guy's awesome. Over 200 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, and the Seahawks used the craziest two-point conversion ever to get into overtime and beat the Rams and take the lead in the NFC West and take the lead in the race for the number 1 seed in the entire NFC. Phenomenal game. Great overtime win for the Seahawks. We'll get more into that and what is trending. Your Utah Jazz led the Lakers for 3 quarters, and the Lakers went on a big run in the fourth quarter, and they go on to win the game. Keyonte George had another big night shooting the ball with Lowry Markkanen out, and Austin Reeves was also out for the Lakers. And the Lakers get the win with a really strong fourth quarter. Let's get to the best of the postgame show.
Your Jazz recap here on DJ and PK 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott with you. The Jazz came up short against the Lakers last night, 143-135. Luka Doncic with a triple-double last night at Delta Center. 45 points, 14 assists, and 11 rebounds for the Lakers in the win. The Jazz got a big night from Keyonte George, 34 points and 8 assists. Let's get to the postgame sound of Jazz head coach Will Hardy.
I thought it was a great game. I think I'm really proud of the team, how they play together. I think offensively, we've shown that we're really hard to guard. It was a weird night when you score 135 points, but you miss 16 free throws and probably 9 layups. But I think the togetherness, the connectedness of the team on the offensive side is tremendous. Defensively, everybody has to continue to raise their level of urgency on the weak side. The Lakers are a really tough team to guard. They've got some special players, and their size hurt us at different moments. But, I think we don't have one person on our team who's going to put out all the fires defensively. Everybody has to take turns. And I think, our weak side defense is continuing to improve. Tonight we just had some stretches where it wasn't good enough. I think in the first half we were a little bit lazy with our hands at the point of attack. Too many reaching fouls from secondary defenders. But I thought it was a heck of a game. I'm proud of the team's effort.
Obviously, it's a group effort to try and defend someone like Luka.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're going to stop him from scoring. What more could you do, or would you want if you could redo that one with him specifically?
Yeah, I think we didn't do a good job with our secondary defenders. He does a great job of getting you on his hip. I'm not sure how many fouls they called on us because of body contact. It was a lot of hands being caught in. I think we just were probably half of a defensive slide away from where we needed to be in a bunch of those ISOs. And when he gets to shoot 16 free throws and gets kind of those plays where he's in the paint in the first half, the big three he makes late feels devastating, but he's 4 for 12 from 3 on the game. He's an incredible player, but it's all those little things add up, and then the special moment happens, and it's too far gone.
What did you like from Isaiah tonight?
It's one of Zay's best games that I've seen him play. I think he's continuing to apply pressure on the paint for our team. He's doing such a good job of playing off 2 feet. He's delivering the bump on the ground, which I think gives him the opportunity at his size to still finish at the rim. But he's making a lot of really good decisions for us. Zay works really hard, and I think he's continuing to find his way of how his skill set fits with our team. And if he keeps putting pressure on the paint and playing off 2 feet, he's going to help us every night. His tempo and transition, the way he can push the pace is great. The other part that doesn't get talked about, I don't think, is that when he's on the court with Keyonte, it allows Keyonte to get off the ball for a few minutes. It's a different look for Key. Key naturally has been a 2 guard for the majority of his life. but it's exhausting to bring the ball up against pressure over and over and over again. So I think that part, Zay's helping Key a lot when they're on the court together because it takes some of the ball handling duties away for a few minutes.
And sticking on that topic too, late in the fourth quarter, or midway fourth quarter, I saw Isaiah, Walt, and Key out there. What did you like about having all three of them out there for kind of those reasons?
Yeah, you know, they were changing the matchups a little bit. You know, I thought Walt and his shooting was going to be something that was going to help us. You know, Ace needed a blow, needed to rest a little bit. So in that moment, having three guys who could dribble felt like it was something that could help us. It's not a look that we've seen a ton of, and so, you know, I wish I could sit here and say I knew perfectly how it was going to work or not work, but there's still a lot to explore and learn with our team.
With Key, so much of his success this year has been off of Lowry actions, and tonight he has a 34-point game kind of without Lowry, and just kind of wondering what you think that shows about how he's grown as a player and what he's capable of doing with himself.
Yeah, I think it's time that everybody stops trying to give reasons why Keyonte is playing well. Oh, well, he's only playing well because Lowry helps him so much, and oh, he's only playing well because of this, and oh, like, no, he's pretty good. And I think it's time that everybody gives him some respect. He's worked hard, and the way he carries himself, the way he works every day, the way he takes coaching, the way he interacts with his teammates, the way he's helping Ace. You know, I think, believe me, there's nobody who's going to be harder on Key than me, but he's pretty freaking good. And to do it tonight against that team when Lowry's not on the court, I do think speaks volumes to the level that he's at right now. You know, to do it efficiently at that is, I think, again, it just speaks to the work that Keyonte puts in. You know, we talk about the summer a lot, but the work that he continues to put in, like to mentally prepare, to physically prepare every night to play in this league is hard. And so maybe it's time that there's not reasons that Keyonte's playing well, other than Keyonte's gotten pretty good.
How are you seeing his approach rub off on his teammates?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a young team, but they're serious about it. Like, they want to be really good. I think Keyonte impacts that because he adds to it. I don't want to sit here and say that Keyonte is the reason that the other guys are taking it seriously or working hard. You know, if anything, when we get to the off season, Keyonte is somebody that you can use as an example of, like, this is what can happen in a summer. If you really put your head down and do the work for 3-4 months, like, you can really improve your body. You can really improve as a player. But Keyonte, the way that he works and carries himself rubs off on a lot of our team. But I do think we have a group of young players that are really hungry to get better. I've never questioned their desire or their work ethic.
That's Jazz head coach Will Hardy. Let's now move on to the players and hear from Isaiah Collier.
Make free throws, missed 16 tonight, so yeah.
On the defensive end of the floor, obviously Luke is a tough cover, but just how can you kind of limit what he and they do well?
I mean, we know Luka's gonna hit tough shots. He is who he is for a reason. So I mean, it's trying to, you know, do what we can do to make, you know, like you said, tough coverages. He got hot tonight for, you know, a good minute for sure. So I mean, we just gotta be better on the defense end, honestly. So yeah.
On the paint touches, you know, obviously that's something you were very good at last year as well. But it seems like even in half court settings, you can get downhill kind of when you want to this year. Like, is that? Do you feel like you're better able to read the defender, or kind of what's been able to lead to some success there?
Reading the defender. Watched a lot of film this summer. Watching a lot of film now. So I mean, seeing how teams are playing me, honestly, I feel like everybody's pretty much playing me as a driver. So I mean, I think I have, you know, advantages, you know, to still beat them on the drive. So I mean, little things like that, and then making them right read. So yeah.
From your perspective, what has allowed Keyonte to kind of take these next steps as a player?
I mean, I think everybody sees the work he put in. I mean, he's a great leader, you know, for us as a team. So, I mean, the work, that he's put in, this off season, we all seen it, see the work he's still putting in now. So, I mean, it's contagious for sure.
For those of us that don't see it, what is different about the way that he worked this summer, the way that he continues to?
He pushed all of us, honestly. That was the biggest thing, as far as just most of the young guys being here this summer. We got after it. And he was most likely, first in everything, honestly. So, I mean, pushed all of us, and I feel like, it's showing on the court for him. I think it's showing on the court for everybody, honestly. I think, we all had a great summer. So, I mean, it's slowly progress. So, yeah.
No marketing tonight. How did you feel like you and the rest of the team responded to fill that void?
I mean, I think the main thing is just going out there to compete, honestly. I mean, we know Larry's a big piece, but, you have to take advantage of your opportunity, honestly. So, I mean, just going out there, competing, playing hard as we can. You're going to make mistakes, but, just staying with yourself. So, yeah.
How much is it in your mind when you're trying to get those paint touches and using it to your advantage that one of the bigger advantages that you have is your speed?
I mean, I feel like paint touches create shots. I think that's for every team in the league, honestly. So, I mean, paint threat is very important. That creates shots, and that's what I try to do.
The Jazz lose to the Lakers 143-135. Up next, the Jazz will take on the Magic at Delta Center coming up tomorrow night. The game will tip off at 7:30. Pregame begins at 6:30. Coming up next, more DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
There is the best of the postgame show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Ken Pomeroy, KenPom.com, his thoughts on the NCAA tournament, early look at power leagues and how they're performing in the non-conference. Where would BYU stack up potentially as a seed in the NCAA tournament? There's so much to get to. We'll talk with Ken Pomeroy. And then we'll hear from Kyle Whittingham, his first interview since he steps down as Utah's head coach. Stay with us. Ken Pomeroy next. DJ PK, and we're joined once again by Ken Pomeroy, college basketball guru of KenPom.com. Ken, good morning.
Good morning.
Let's start with the big headline. BYU looks really good. They've played a half dozen games against power conference teams, and they're going to play a Big 12 schedule with a bunch of ranked teams there. They play three of them twice. They're going to get Texas Tech twice, Arizona twice, and Utah twice. Tech and Arizona are both ranked. Where are you thinking the Cougars are going to be seated if you try to look ahead a couple of months here?
Oh, I mean, the sky is almost the limit for that. I don't think a one seed is necessarily unrealistic, but it's unlikely. There's some really good teams at the top of college basketball this year. But after that, I mean, you could see them getting a 2 seed without any question. 2 or a 3, probably a 2. I'd almost bet on a 2 at this point. They've had the only scary thing is that sometimes they just don't show up for the first half, and saw that against UConn and against Clemson and against Delaware. Actually, it was another example where they just did not show up for the first half. There's a type of team. I'm just going to throw this out there. I was thinking about this the other day. There have been teams in the past where they have like a star that they can go to at the end of the game, and they're really confident that if it's a close game, they're going to get points from this person, either scoring or at the free throw line. And obviously BYU kind of fits that mold with Devonsa. The last thing I remember like this is like Blake Griffin, Oklahoma, where they didn't have a lot of depth. It was mostly a one-man team, and they rose to number 1 in the polls, and they were never really like that high in any sort of power ranking because they did take some possessions off. I think subconsciously knowing that the game was almost in the bag at the end of the game, and BYU's not quite on that level yet. But I'm curious to see how they navigate the Big 12 schedule if this happens. If they, even against weaker teams, they don't necessarily put them away because they know that 2 minutes left, they can give the ball to AJ and he can make things happen. It's going to be fun times in Provo, I think, over the next 2 to 3 months.
Conference season is pretty much over, or not conference, non-conference, I should say. as far as that goes. I mean, I realize that they still have a couple more games and all, but the point I'm making, have you been able to, with some form of good legitimacy, create ranking in terms of conferences and who's better and who's that and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about legitimacy, DK. And,
you should be. I've been trying to push that on you for as long as I've known you.
Been working on that, and we have legitimate conference rankings. And I guess the story this year is that, last year the story was the SEC was sort of this dominant league that, historically dominant, almost all their teams getting into the tournament, 14 out of 16 getting into the tournament, and then, having reasonable success in the NCAA tournament as well. It was really one of the best leagues of modern history. The SEC, I still have it rated as the top league, but it's significantly weaker than it has been. And mostly the reason they're the top league is that the bottom is good, which is probably not a reason that, most people want to rate leagues. Like when it comes to getting tournament bids, it's kind of TBD as to which league's going to get the most. You got the SEC, the Big Ten, and the Big 12. I mean, they're all pretty similar in terms of overall strength. The SEC's bottom is stronger. The top is not nearly as strong as it was last year. Like there's, Vanderbilt is the highest rated team in the league right now. I believe the highest ranked team in the AP poll as well, for those who believe in that sort of stuff. And they're a legitimate team, but like they're not, on the level of Florida or Auburn last year, or even Alabama. It's just a little bit down at the top of the league. And then you got the Big Ten and the Big 12 have better teams at the top. The bottom is also lower for both of those leagues, but all three of those leagues are, basically within the margin of error of each other. And if people care about which league is the best league, it's going to come down to, I'm sure, for popular opinion, which teams or which leagues get the most teams in the tournament, and then how those teams fare in the tournament. And for some people, the best league is simply determined by who wins the title game. And for those people, maybe it'll be one of those three leagues, or maybe it'll be, maybe it'll be Duke. It's usually the ACC people that like to go that route. And if Duke or Carolina or somebody else, Louisville, wins the title, they'll claim that the ACC was the best league. And hey, I'm not going to put up much of a fight about that.
We have to watch so much football, and we probably have at least 7, but really 8, 9. Yeah, with Weber State football, maybe we're about to have 10 teams we got to track. So watching a lot of out-of-state college basketball, I'm just not going to have time to do a lot of that. But I did read and saw a couple scores, and I did read Michigan is awesome. Even among the awesome teams, they're awesome. And when I looked at KenPom.com to confirm that, I was like, whoa, net rating, they're like 4.5 points in front of everybody else. Do you view Michigan as a powerhouse and everyone in college basketball is chasing them? Because right now, looking at your rankings, I think you're about to say yes.
I think the best way to put it is that Michigan's peak has been better than anybody else's. I mean, Michigan's peak has been amazing. The bizarre thing about Michigan is that, the second game of the year, they play a Wake Forest team that, probably not going to be in the tournament and really should have lost that game. There was a late comeback. They went to overtime. They won the game. But that was a pretty ugly performance. They struggled badly with TCU in the very next game, another team that, probably won't make the tournament. And since then, they have just been, wrecking teams. I mean, they went to the Players Era Festival. That's where it really, opened people's eyes, and they just annihilated San Diego State, annihilated Auburn, annihilated Gonzaga. And since then, the reputation has been born that, this team is really, really good. I mean, they'll get their test in Big Ten play. And they actually, are coming off a game against Maryland where the score was lopsided, but they were only ahead by 3 with 10 minutes left. And Maryland's another team not going to make the tournament or really come close. So that's the way I'd put it. At Michigan's peak, I mean, you beat Gonzaga by 40 in any year. It's a big deal. I believe it was the worst loss in Mark Stoops' career. So in any year, that's a big deal. But if you also look at my ratings, there's Gonzaga's, I believe, still number 2 today. So that was a pretty crazy one. So yeah, Michigan at its best, I think, is better than anybody else. They're not, this is not, 1991 UNLV or something like that. I mean, it's there's other, very good teams out there that have also had very impressive wins, like Iowa State, winning by 20 plus at Purdue, and Arizona's been rolling. Duke very young, but seem to have all the pieces to make another push for a Final Four or a national title. So there are other teams out there, but yeah, I would say like Michigan right now, rightfully the favorite to win the title.
Based on your rankings, do you take more crap in the non-conference or during the conference?
Man, I do take a lot of crap in the non-conference.
That's what I thought. Sure. Yeah, and I always enjoy it each time you do, by the way.
I enjoy it too, actually. A nice, fun ritual for me is just, there's plenty of crap out there. So on social media, and I just when the crap comes in, I just bookmark the crap, and we'll check back in at the end of the season. There was a guy who made a social media account just to not very politely tell me, that I was crazy about his team, and his team was Georgetown, which Georgetown might make this year, but they got a lot of work to do. Like they just got taken to overtime by St. Peter's, but he was irate that they were getting like a few votes in the AP poll, and I had them ranked like 83rd or something. And so irate that he created a social media account solely to let me know this. And so I'm being patient, but at the end of the year, I'm petty enough where I might post a screenshot
and go back at it. Yeah,
that was going to be my follow-up. Do you bookmark these just so you can look back with satisfaction and think, yeah, he's wrong, I'm right. He's wrong, I'm right. Or do you literally tweet, how do you like me now?
It's mostly for the purposes of like a year-end, post on Substack to, just recap all of the bad opinions about my ratings. That's mostly the purpose, which I was too lazy to do last year because the ratings actually performed really well last year, and there weren't I think people just gave up and gave me some credit. But the year before, I think there were quite a few, and I just had them all bookmarked, and it's great content at the end of the year.
Sure, why not? That's part of the fun. Kentucky with Mark Pope, man, he's been under the microscope. What do you think?
I think it's a fascinating situation. I mean, these are I love these kind of storylines in college basketball where obviously the expectations greatly exceeded reality there, and Kentucky fans are impatient. I mean, last year they were you get 1 year of quasi patience, and
right.
I think Kentucky pretty much overachieved last year, but obviously the expectations were so low that they weren't really a serious Final Four national title threat.
Right.
And that's kind of it in modern times. You get 1 year, and then if you're in Kentucky and you are not threatening to go to a Final Four, there will be immediate heat on you. And there's I don't know about rightfully, but there's immediate heat on Mark Pope in Kentucky right now because they obviously have struggled. And it's just not that they've lost to good teams. They've generally not been competitive, getting run off the floor by Gonzaga and Michigan State, and losing to Louisville. I mean, that game was more competitive. It was a road game. You kind of understand that. Louisville's pretty good this year, but you just don't, there's no star power on that team. You just don't see the path to, them meeting kind of the expectation of being a top 10 team this year. I think I would be surprised if they didn't make the tournament. I think they're good enough to make the tournament and even be a 6, 7, 8 seed, somewhere in there. But it's a serious struggle for them, and obviously got the big game this weekend against St. John's, which every game for them just seems so critical. like the Indiana game, they could just come off winning that, and everything seems like, it's okay. Like, you just look at the final score, and they, pulled away late, as they probably should, but they were trailing like 8 or 9 at halftime. I mean, it was scary stuff. They lose that game. I mean, it's rough, and obviously the crowd is not supportive. I mean, it's an interesting situation there. I don't know what his future looks like if they end up getting, say an 8 seed or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I assume he'd be back, but there would be questions.
Yeah, they should have hired Kevin Young.
I mean, yeah, you look. That's the whole thing, though. Like, if they do let him go, I mean, you remember the coaching search? It didn't go very smoothly. That was part of the reason that they ended up with Mark Pope, is that he wasn't their first choice, and obviously without the Kentucky ties, he wouldn't have been one of their top 5 choices. But
right.
That's the thing. If you let him go, it's like you have to go through this whole coaching search again. And
it reminds me of what Penn State had done in football.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
you fired James Franklin. Now what?
Yeah, not only that, but you have all. In that case, you have the entire season to do the coaching search, and it's still a struggle. So
right.
That's the thing in basketball. Like, you can't, you don't have. If you're going to make the decision, you better have a very good idea of who you're going to pursue, and whether those people are interested in taking your job. And we saw that actually a lot last year in the tournament, where guys were essentially coaching their teams that had already made deals to coach other teams, this season, just weren't public about it. But that's just the way it's got to be, because the recruiting cycle is just instantaneous now in the sport.
I'm curious, when you're taking all this heat in November and December, the transfer portal is so wild now. Teams are completely remaking themselves. We just had Jared Calhoun on, 5 returning guys, 5 freshmen, 5 transfers. One of the transfers, Colby King, is playing at his 4th school in 4 years. Shouldn't there be some expectation both from you and from the audience? Like, hey, it's going to take a while to figure this out. Just don't take anything seriously 2, 4, 6 games into the season. It's too early.
I mean, that is that's what I would preach to people. I think in general, if your team gets off to a hot start in the first 4 games, and you're not rated well in my ratings or whatever, it's just like, that's just the way it works. Like, you're going to, that fan base is going to be extremely impatient and demand that they be respected by all parties. But that is the fun of college basketball, is that you can, first of all, in this era, obviously you can surprise people, but also you can fake it for like 6 or 8 games. Like, you can look like a pretty good team for 6 or 8 games and actually not be that good of a team, or vice versa. I mean, you go back and look at previous seasons, and teams get off the slow starts, and then they figure it out. I mean, Houston was a team like that last year. I mean, people, I don't know how familiar they are with Houston necessarily. I'm sure they're familiar with the fact that they were in the national title game, and they didn't lose a game on the road in the Big 12 last year, which is outrageous. But early in the season, they lose a game to San Diego State, and they tumble down the AP poll, and people kind of wonder, are they just, are they going to crumble in Big 12 play? We finally have this moment where Houston, obviously in a Big 12 expansion team, is not ready for the moment, although the previous year they were very good. But and then they end up being great. And so, the premise of your question suggests, I guess, that people look at this rationally early in the season, and that's not really what fans do. And I don't expect them to. And I'm all good with it, guys.
With the situation now of players coming in as freshmen, and they have a lot of hype when they come in. Last year we did it, and we've already established like the top 3 guys, and it seems like for the NBA draft, and the top 3 this year, and we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, DeBonsa, Peterson for Kansas has had the injury, hadn't been on the floor that much, and then you got Carlos' son, Cam Boozer, and so already. And I've seen all these guys play because they were on ESPN before they even get to this level. And obviously I've seen DeBonza play in person several times already. Boozer now, I'm intrigued by him because the guy's a double-double machine here in college so far through the non-conference. And now you're starting to see knocks on him. Oh, well, he can't do this. He's undersized, blah, 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 whatever it might be. What do you think of him?
Yeah, I love him. I love the type of player who's not overly athletic. I mean, kind of a below the rim big, but
right. That's the number one knock against him.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, those kind of things do matter when you end up playing in the best basketball league in the world. But he's just so phenomenally skilled, and he's not like slow or anything. Like I think his feet are like reasonably quick. His reaction time is really good. So, he makes up for some of those. He makes up for the below the rim stuff in some ways. Like that, obviously, that will be the question. When teams when these guys go through the draft process, is, for number one, you see certainly the athleticism from DeBonza and what he can do,
right.
And to a lesser extent, Darren Peterson. I mean, Peterson just looks so smooth out there, even though, as you mentioned, he has had the injury. But when he's been on the floor, even at 75%, he still looks really good. So all those things come into play. But yeah, certainly with Cam, it's a question of the athleticism. But the production is outrageous, and the production against good teams has been pretty good. Like, yeah, he will go 5-7 minutes without necessarily making an impact on the game. But like, I don't care who you're talking about at this level. Like that happens. We could find those stretches for AJ DeBonza as well. The people are maybe being a little overly critical on Cam just simply because of the lack of athleticism necessarily. But overall, like at the end of the day, you look at his production even against great teams, and it's been worthy of the hype of potentially being the number one pick.
Well, the skill matters a lot, and he's got it. And honestly, just it reminds me so much of watching his dad, because his dad was highly skilled, and his dad was undersized and didn't have great lift, and it really didn't limit what the Jazz could do until they ran into a team like the Lakers, who they lost to 3 times in 4 years, and the Lakers had 3 7-footers across the front line. And so the skill can overcome a little bit of that lack of explosiveness and a little bit of that lack of size, but when you put 3 guys out on the court, there are going to be limitations, and that goes back to your point about, well, it's the best league in the world, and when you run into the best teams in the best leagues, there can be a bit of a ceiling there.
Yeah, and what's interesting? Like Carlos, my recollection is he was one of the first guys who, his analytics started becoming a thing relative to the draft. Like he was one of the first guys who, like the nerds in the on the dark web at that time, were like, why is this guy not profiled higher in the draft? Why is he not like a lottery pick, really? Mm-hmm. Because, the same knock, like he wasn't athletic, but he was just supremely productive back in an ACC that was, easily the best league in the country, playing top 10 teams all the time. It's like, obviously, yeah, this guy he doesn't meet the athletic profile of an NBA player, but production-wise, against really good competition, he's outstanding, obviously very skilled, and ultimately that was a win for the nerds on the dark web.
All right, well, we'll leave it right there, Ken. We appreciate it, as always. Thanks for a little December college basketball talk.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. We'll talk to you again. Ken Pomeroy. You can follow him, kenpom.com, for everything you want to know about college basketball and your team and your conference and where they fit in the bigger world. And he'll keep getting that dialed in as they play more games. That's Ken Pomeroy from kenpom.com. When we come back, the Utes meet with the media in advance of their bowl game. Lander Barton, Devin Dampier, and Kyle Whittingham's first public comments since he stepped aside as the Utes head coach. That's all coming up next. Stay with us. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Well, the Utes are preparing for their bowl game, and they are headed to beautiful Las Vegas. And it turns out there are not going to be a lot of guys opting out. A few. Kyle Whittingham gets into that, his first public comment since he stepped down as a head coach. But first, we're going to start with a guy who got the interception, the exclamation point on his final game at Rice-Eccles Stadium with the interception against Kansas State. Here's the Utes' Lander Barton.
I wonder what's these last couple weeks been like for this team, for you, and everything.
It's been a fun last couple weeks. I mean, a lot of changes going on in my life coming up in January, but I mean, it's just a blessing to be here every day with the guys and just make every day as great as possible.
What kind of difference did Kyle Whittingham make on your football career?
Man, it's hard to even put into words. I mean, me and my two brothers all playing for him, so I mean, it's been an honor to have him as a head coach. And I mean, I'm happy for him and where he is in life now, and it was great playing for him.
I know that you're not going to be here, but you work so closely with Morgan Scalley. What kind of hands is this program in?
I mean, I think there's going to be no change, really. It's just going to continue right on. And I mean, Coach Scalley's a great coach, so I mean, I'm excited for him. And so it's just awesome for him.
We saw the emotions from Kyle after the final home game with the win when he talked about the seniors. What would a win in this final game mean for you guys?
I mean, you always want to go out with a win. I think, like, as a player, I want to go out with a win. As a coach, I'd want to go out. So, I mean, we're just going to try to play our asses off and get one more for him.
Do you consider opting out for this game?
No.
How do you weigh those decisions, knowing that, like, you obviously are a competitive guy, you want to be in that. How do you personally weigh that?
I mean, there's definitely conversations that you have to have with agents and then people that are kind of around you in your circle. But, I mean, it's just ultimately it's up to each player whether or not they want to play.
What does January look like for you?
Start training, just getting ready.
Were you surprised or shocked when Kyle made the announcement, or did you kind of have a feeling this was coming? Especially after the year you had.
I'm not. Everyone can speculate. Everyone had their own ideas. But, I mean, I wasn't worried about it because I knew for at least one more game he's going to be my head coach. So, I mean, I didn't speculate too much on it.
Yeah, what does that mean to you that he is going to coach one last time?
It's awesome. It's going to be a hell of a game.
When you look back on your career, what do you think about your time here at Utah? I know it's probably a lot to think about, but
yeah, I mean, I loved my entire time here. I mean, it was just a great experience from beginning to end. So, I mean, just want to finish it off right.
Your thoughts on Nebraska, looking at their offense and what's going to take to slow them down?
I mean, it's a good team, and they're going to come in here and run the ball or go down to Vegas, run the ball. So, I mean, they got good players. I know they got some guys out, injuries and stuff like that, but it'll be a good game.
If you do win, not a bad place to celebrate New Year's Eve.
Exactly.
All right, there is Lander Barton. Now here's the quarterback, Devin Dampier.
How's bowl prep going?
Man, it's been fun. Obviously, we're proud of what we did, but man, we got one more. It's been a minute since we won a bowl game, so we're practicing. We're practicing for this win for sure.
What was your reaction when you heard Kyle was stepping down?
Man, that's a legend. I got a lot of respect for him. I think he's transformed this program. He's made it perfect for Scalley to step in, and I'm excited to still be a U.
What are your thoughts on Scalley taking over?
Man, I'm very confident in Scalley. When I came here on my visit, that was someone I talked to, and he let me know the rundown when his time comes. He had his full beliefs in me and in my talent, so I'm perfectly fine where I'm at.
Devin, there's obviously this time of the year a lot of guys will opt out, whether it be an NFL draft or other reasons. Is this one of those games where you considering still playing, or how does that work with kind of the health that you've had and some of that stuff?
Yeah, I chose to finish out this season with my team. I'm going to play it in the game, but some people it's a lot higher stakes. Got a couple of first rounders and things like that. So we know those guys love us. They let it be known every day since they've been here. So we still support those guys. They support us.
Have you officially decided to come back for next year, or are you still kind of mulling it over?
I keep getting this. Y'all gonna see. But it's good. It's great. I'm very happy to be here. Seriously. Yep.
What about you? And Bird already officially announced that.
Yeah.
You guys, if you're both back, what would that mean to this team?
Man, it's going to mean a lot. We're trying to do something special, but his got a little leaked out before we could get to it. But it's coming. It's coming.
How important is it for you guys to, you talked about not winning a bowl game in a while, but how important is it to, also send Kyle out on a win?
It means a lot to me. Again, I could try to speak for everybody on the team, but me especially, just that's a coach that believed in me to come in here after being at New Mexico, and just had full trust in me in the offense to do what we do, and that's just huge respect from him, and just what he's done for this program. This is one of the only programs in college football where you know what youths do, how they play, and the mentality. So for him to leave that up, I got to finish well for him.
New Year's Eve in Las Vegas, going out with a win, would that just be the perfect way to end the year?
Yeah, no doubt. I got a lot of family coming out. I'm telling them when we handle my game first, and then we'll talk about everything after that. But very exciting place to be at to play, one last game with my team.
What's this time been like for you as players? Is it still business as usual on the field?
No doubt. We're definitely having fun with it. We've got a couple of days before the game truly gets close. But, business is business when we step in this facility. We know it's work, but a lot of smiles going around. A lot of people are happy.
You mentioned a little bit earlier about the transition from Kyle to Scally. That doesn't happen a lot, but do you think that leaves the program in a better spot than if they brought in a new coaching staff?
Most definitely. I think, especially like I said, just what's already set here, what's known here. Scally's been under Whit. I think Whit's done a great job of allowing him to demonstrate what a good head coach looks like, and I know Scally's going to step into it and do what he does. So.
There's Utah quarterback Devin Dampier, now the guy everybody's been waiting to hear from. Here is Kyle Whittingham, his first public comments as he steps down as the head coach.
Well, what's it been like since you made your announcement for you?
Oh, business as usual. We're just going through the paces of getting ready for the ball game. And players have got a great attitude. What have we had, 5 practices now? Every one of them has been really good. So just got to keep going. Another one tomorrow, another one Monday. Give the time off for Christmas. Fly them down to the bowl site and get going again.
Kyle, what for you, what was the reason to kind of ultimately do it at this point?
Well, the program's in a good place right now. As I've said many times, after last season, just didn't sit right with anybody, particularly me, and so came back and fortunately we were able to get the ship righted and everything's on track. Program, like I said, is in a good spot. Got good coaches. Coach Scally will come in and do a great job. Got good players. So now is the time.
Is coaching out of your system?
I don't know if it's ever out of your system. I mean, it's in your blood, and so I don't know about that. Not that being said, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but it's when you got the coaching in your blood, it just doesn't go away.
So to clarify, is this not a retirement?
Well, who knows? We'll see. I guess stepping down and step away and reevaluate things and see where we're at.
I guess, what does that process look like for you if you want to decide whether to pursue opportunities or move into your role at the U?
What's the process look like?
Yeah.
If my phone rings, I answer it. If I like who's calling, then we'll see. Yeah, that's pretty much the process.
You've been under contract for a long time in your adult life. This is the first time you're kind of a free agent.
I'm a free agent. I'm in the transfer portal. So yeah, it's a different feel, but like I said, I'm at peace, and I did not want to be that guy that overstayed his welcome and people just saying, hey, when's this guy going to leave? That was not my intention ever, and I hope I didn't do that. I'm sure with some people I did do that, but the time, to me, the timing is right.
So you never felt that from anybody?
Well, let's talk about our guys. Let's talk about our players. The time is right for me. I just felt like that's my best answer.
Yeah. What did it mean for you to coach one last game? When Urban stepped down, you guys were co-head coaches, but you wanted one last game with this team.
Well, this team has been one of my favorite years. The team attitude, the leadership, the work ethic, just the personality and the feel, the vibe of the team is outstanding, and having the chance to be around these guys one more month and go to battle one more time with them was something I wanted to do.
Do you have a number of Do you have a number on how many opt-outs you'll have for this bowl game?
Well, right now it's just 3, our 2 tackles and Logan Farnham. And so I would assume, you never know for sure, but I assume that we're in place now, and going forward, those will be there. We've had some other, a few walk-ons, scout team players that have decided to move on and are not with us. We've also got a handful of guys that are going to go in the portal that are still practicing with us. So as far as not playing in the game, I think that what we have right now is what we'll go into the game with. I hope so.
Looking at Nebraska, what stands out about them?
Big Ten team. I mean, they're a typical Big Ten team. Got some really good athletes in certain spots, and just exactly what you'd expect from a Nebraska football team. They're physical. Traditionally they're very physical and old school and smash mouth, and that's what we expect.
You're right here, Kyle. If part of you still wanted to coach and be kind of competitive in football, why not do it at Utah?
Well, like I said, I don't want to overstay my welcome. Somebody once told me that every year that goes by you're a coach, 10% of the fan base starts to hate you. And so after 20 years, they all, plus their kids and grandkids, probably hate me. So anyway, but it was a good run. It was a good run. And I'll say it one more time. I didn't want to be that hanger-oner that just kept, people just got sick of.
Who would have gotten sick of you, Kyle?
You, for one.
I mean, seriously.
I don't know. I just feel that, I didn't want to just be that guy. I don't know how else to put it.
You said the program is in great hands. You said the program is going to be in great hands. What is it about Morgan Scalley that's going to make a great head coach?
Well, he's organized. He's really good with X's and O's. He's really good at connecting with players. His culture ideas, my culture ideas align perfectly. We both have a lot of the same recruiting strategies and thoughts, evaluation-wise, how you navigate the portal, all that stuff. It's very consistent, and I think that there's going to be far more similarities than change. Now, he'll put his own stamp on the program, make no mistake. But way back when I took over for Urban, if it's not broke, don't fix it. We hung on to a lot of the stuff that Urban did here. But Coach has been here a lot of years. He's a Utah man through and through, and so I think it's going to be a good situation.
How much has the time off helped guys that have nagging injuries and stuff as you guys enter this bowl game?
That's been big, and I'm sure it's been the same for Nebraska. I know they got some guys that were beat up, and so that has really benefited. And even the guys that aren't beat up, they're just worn down physically and mentally. That's helped them rejuvenate. So it's been positive.
There's Kyle Whittingham. When we come back, what is trending? The headlines are coming up next.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know. News update. This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag Utah Jazz.
Collier driving, kicks to Hendricks. Power dribble to the rack, packed it.
And a foul.
And he got hit on the head. And Isaiah Collier's speed and penetration is wrecking havoc. Collier, elbow, out to Keyonte. There's only 4 on the shot clock here. He's going to have to shoot the 3 over the top. He hits it. LeBron runs into him. Keyonte goes down. 3-point play for Keyonte. He's going to get a 4th one at the free throw line. LeBron bumping and backing. Bailey sneaks behind. Bailey with a steal. Bailey to the rim. Bailey with a dunk. Ace is wild.
Yeah, I think it's time that everybody stops trying to give reasons why Keyonte is playing well. Oh, well, he's only playing well because Lowry helps him so much. And, oh, he's only playing well because of this. And, no, he's pretty good. And I think it's time that everybody gives him some respect. And the way he carries himself, the way he works every day, the way he takes coaching, the way he interacts with his teammates, the way he's helping Ace. Believe me, there's nobody who's going to be harder on Key than me. But he's pretty freaking good.
There's the head coach, Will Hardy, sticking up for his guy. I didn't know anyone was talking down, but maybe somebody is.
No, I don't think anybody is. I think that maybe he was the one that Will Hardy was yelling, play effing hard. He was. Yeah. And so now's the time to go ahead and praise him, since some people, we all saw that video. I don't think there's anybody in the league saying, well, this guy's just a chucker and he ain't no good.
No,
what a bust of a pick he was.
No, he's shooting efficiently. It's like you said, his body language, the look on his face, the shoulders, the everything.
Knees, head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. I'll second that, Your Honor. Oh, it's a different guy out there. It's the third-year leap. It all seems to be happening. It's
when
great.
I heard him say the compliments, that's what came to my mind.
That makes sense, though. I get that.
He ripped him. He didn't rip him individually, but that video could be perceived as certainly included in that upset rant that Hardy had. And so now, go public, he's pretty bleeping good. You can tell Hardy he's starting to feel his oats now. He's swearing in press conferences and whatnot. And
Good. I don't know who the other guy was.
And, well.
Most coaches, hey, you've sat courtside at games. You've heard coaches go.
Oh, yeah.
You're
I covered BYU all those years.
You're not usually sitting down there with Santa Claus. Yeah, you even have a story about a BYU coach not standing up, bellowing it out so you can hear it in the 17th row, not full Jerry Sloan, but getting down next to a player and rah, 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 rah.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah, I remember
Right?
that one. Yeah. And it was appropriate.
Yeah.
I actually had another coach apologize after the game for me having to hear that. I said, I heard that from my mother growing up. What are you talking about?
Nice. No, that does make sense. The perception out there is that Will was going at Keyonte, and the perception might be out there because it might really be true.
Yeah.
But that's one moment, and now here's a moment over here, and you praise him.
No,
yeah, and that's what Tim McComb was talking about yesterday about, the video. We saw that, and it was, a few seconds. But you have to take everything in context, and I think Tim was right in saying that. And the Jazz have a player in Jorge. That's a fact. I mean, he's been doing it now for many weeks.
Yeah.
This is legit. Nothing bogus about this.
Third straight 30-plus game. It's not enough because the Jazz give up a lot of points. They lose to the Lakers 143 to 135. Now, Lauri Markkanen didn't play. Questionable did mean out. And Austin Reeves didn't play, so I guess you could say that sort of cancels each other out right there.
Yeah, I think so. But, as I watched the Lakers and watched the entire game, obviously, last night, it is a crime against the NBA that they have Doncic. When you think about the Lakers, right, obviously it's 17 or 18 titles, whatever it is, if you put your all-time Laker team out there, they have a Hall of Fame, upper-level player at every freaking position. Now, what are you going to do? Who are you going to bump out? You going to bump out Jerry West? You going to bump out Magic Johnson? You going to bump out Kobe Bryant? I mean, look, 3 guys I just listed.
Wilt, Kareem, Shaq.
Well, I mean at the guard line.
Oh, on the guard line, yeah. It's all over the court, though.
How did they get this guy? This is a show.
Well, Dallas called him, didn't talk to the rest of the league, and gave him away for 40 cents on the dollar.
At best, 40 cents.
It was great.
And that's the Canadian return.
It was 40 Canadian cents
on
$1 US.
It makes no sense.
Maybe that Australian dollar, too.
And he was on one, man, yapping the whole time.
Well, that was the awful thing about the game, and this is where referees can never, ever do it right. That game ended up with 60 fouls in 48 minutes.
I know.
And it was a constant parade to the free throw line, 86 free throws. 60 fouls, 86 free throws, 48 minutes. And the worst part is PK. Multiple people on both teams were begging for more and angry they didn't get it. How many fouls are these guys supposed to call? What do you think we're showing up to watch?
Yeah.
These guys are the best athletes in the world. There are going to be some free throws. We get that. But we're not showing up to watch these guys shoot free throws. We can go play horse in our driveway. That's not why we're there.
Have the Jazz miss 17 of them.
Nice.
Only shot 66% from the free throw line.
Yeah, left a lot of points out there.
Nurkic, man, 4 of 11.
Nurkic, I thought, was really key in the loss. Had a brutal turnover. Got beat for an alley-oop dunk.
5 turnovers. They're forced to play him.
Yeah.
Come on, wake up a little bit.
They don't defend. They don't defend a lick. That is going to be the now, obviously, Kessler is out, and that's rim protection. You assume that would make you much better defensively. I get that, but I think they're now 0-9 when they give up 130 points in regulation. So somebody's going to have to defend out there at some point, because all the scoring is great, and we want to see it. And it's great that, Keyonte George is performing at the level he's at. I thought Ace Bailey made a bunch of good plays out there. You can go on down the line, but you give up 143 points, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
you're going to get beat. But they want to hold on to the draft pick. So Markkanen sits, Kessler's out. They give up a lot of points. They get to hold on to the draft pick if they can keep doing that. All right, DJ and PK, the Utah Jazz go down to defeat to the Lakers. Next up, the Orlando Magic tomorrow night. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
Kyron Williams is single back. 2 split out receivers right. Stafford's going to throw. It's caught. It's Puka. It's a Rams touchdown. Matthew for MVP. 29-14 with 13.5 to go here in the fourth quarter. Stafford does it again.
After reviewing the play, the quarterback threw a backward pass, which was recovered in the end zone by the offense. It is a successful conversion.
I'm telling you what, sometimes it just pays to live a good life. And so now, guess what, 12? We are tied at 30 apiece. Play fake. Sam steps, looks, throws back in the end zone. Touchdown! Seahawks! Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. Darnold has time, looks inside, it's caught! Touchdown! Make an extra point, make a conversion. I don't care what it is. The Seahawks win the game again on the last play of the game.
What a game. Seattle 38-37 over the Rams in overtime. Seattle's got the best record in the NFC. They've got the inside track to the number 1 seed and the first round bye and 2 home games in the playoffs with 2 weeks to go. There were so many awesome performances and awesome plays. You heard the 2-point conversion. The pass deflected. The ball rolls into the end zone. Picked up pretty casually there for the 2-point conversion.
Oh, I don't think Charbonneau was picking it up thinking it was a live ball.
All right, I agree. Yeah. But he did pick it up, and he was in the end zone.
Well, they didn't really – I was watching it live because I was switching back and forth. I think it was halftime of the Jazz. But it didn't seem like – was the whistle blown? Did
it felt like it the way everybody stopped.
Did the Rams know it was a live ball? I don't know how you can continue that. If the whistle had blown, you can't award them 2 points. But they didn't really discuss that on the Herb and Al Michaels. They didn't really talk about that. But that was bizarre, man. It was a heck of a game. It was super entertaining for sure.
Seattle connects on 3 consecutive 2-point conversions. They were down 30-14, and they got the 2 to tie it up, and then they got the 1 in overtime to win 38-37. Puka Nacua have a game, huh? Dozen catches, over 200 yards, scores twice.
Well, I mean, he's a phenomenal player. I said it when he was in town here. They did the 60 spiel. He's the best player in the state. He's one of the top 5 players ever, maybe in BYU, Utah history, and Utah State, and Weber for that matter. The way he's going, he needs to grow up a little bit, man. Get some maturity here, because then he put something out on Twitter about the refs and then deleted it. But once it goes out, it's out. You can delete it all you want. It doesn't matter.
Somebody screenshotted it. Somebody saved it. Yeah.
And I don't think he comes from a point of negative. I think he's a happy-go-lucky kind of kid that is goofy in that way. But he's going to have to learn his consequences. Some dance that he did that was offensive. I didn't see the dance, but then he apologized for that. And I believe in his heart he had no idea that this dance was offensive. Because that's just not who he is. He's, as I say, he's a goofy guy, but he's under the spotlight now because his talent is enormous. Enormous. I mean, as good as there is in the league, in a league with a ton of really good receivers.
He just lit up a really good defense.
Yeah.
I mean, Seattle's defense is...
He is a superstar, and with that comes a certain obligation. And I think once he understands that, it'll be fine, because I don't think he's coming from a position of being a bad person.
Rashid Shaheed keeps making big plays for Seattle, the former Weber State Wildcat, with the 58-yard punt return for a touchdown to start the rally, and they're down 30-14 with 8 minutes to go in the game. That was a big play, and the momentum swung after that.
He's like a mini Dion in terms of the excitement if he gets the ball. What's it going to be? I'm not going to put him at Deion Sanders' level,
right?
But he sort of reminds me of a smaller version of what Deion accomplished all those years.
He's electric, and that was a huge play. And so Seattle improves to 12-3 on the year. They've got the best record in the NFC, and they finish now. That was at home, and they get the split with the Rams. They finish at Carolina and at San Francisco. So can they win a couple of road games and lock down the 1 seed, or they stumble and they open it back up again?
I didn't realize last night was senior night.
Yeah, it was. It was senior night. Jacksonville Jaguars and receiver Jacoby Myers have agreed on a 3-year, $60 million contract extension. Jags got him at the November 4th trade deadline. Scored 3 touchdowns in 6 weeks, averaged about 60 yards a catch. Team's gone 5-1 since they acquired him, so he gets 3 years and $60 million. And we don't have to wait for Sunday for the NFL. We got Saturday games. Eagles at the Commanders, and then the Packers at the Bears, 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. So Saturday NFL football.
Well, Green Bay at Chicago, big-time game.
Yeah, huge game. The Eagles really soft landing here at the end of the year after they had that losing streak. They beat the Raiders last week. They get to play the Commanders twice. They got to stack up some wins here at the end of the year. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Look, would we allow the winner of the AAA baseball league, the International League, whatever they call it, I don't even know the name of it, would you let them in the World Series playoffs?
I don't think they do. No, I don't think.
No, they don't, but I'm saying, but that's the equivalent of what we do when JMU gets in to the college football playoff and Notre Dame doesn't.
There's Nick Saban stumping to get the little guys out. Of course, the little guys will run to their U.S. senator, and then there'll be an antitrust lawsuit. Yeah. So that is why the G5 is still in, but Nick clearly wants him out.
Did he start his coaching career at Toledo? Was he head coach there? I wonder if he would have felt the same.
Yeah,
I mean, that's apples and kumquats. JMU is on the end. That would be the Dodgers playing the Rockies, not the Salt Lake Bees.
Right.
They're in.
But they try to talk dismissively because they're trying to kick him out.
Well, you can't.
I know, you're right.
They're in Division I football.
Yeah.
You can make a rule that says you will never play for the playoff, which is essentially what they did when BYU won in '84. I'm not saying that's fine, but his premise is false. The Colorado Rockies, even though they don't show it and haven't for years, they're still an MLB team.
Right. The Rays spend a lot less money. The Rockies aren't any good, but they're in the major leagues.
Yeah, and so is JMU.
Yeah, they're teams that aren't any good in Division I football, and they're teams that don't have as much money, but they still get to chase the championship.
Man, if I'm J-Mad, I am J-Mad.
College football playoff begins tonight.
Yeah.
Alabama and Oklahoma in prime time.
That's huge. You got 2 big brand names right off the bat.
Yep.
Tonight? Yeah, wow.
And the winner will go play Indiana in the Rose Bowl.
I like
the number 1 seed.
Yeah, how do you not like that?
And there's a lot of speculation that for everything DeBoer said, the Michigan job is still open because if he loses, especially if he loses and it's ugly, they might want him out and he might decide to go.
It could be, yeah, I understand that. At the same time, having spent some time with Kyle Whittingham, if I'm Michigan, I absolutely call him. Absolutely call him, yes.
Well, it could happen fast. I mean, Alabama could go win the game. I mean, who knows?
I got you. Yeah. I don't know.
Then they could move on to your guy Dillingham. But maybe he stays. Who knows?
But yeah.
Michigan's leaving the door wide open and not saying much right now.
Nor should they.
Yeah. 3 more playoff games tomorrow. Miami at Texas A&M. Nice. Tulane at Ole Miss, and James Madison at Oregon. The winner of that James Madison-Oregon game will get Big 12 champ Texas Tech. I assume Oregon will roll it home and go play Texas
okay,
Tech.
Nick.
That Ole Miss game is a rematch. Tulane went to Ole Miss and got beat 45-10 early in the season. Let's see if it's any different now.
Tulane Jew, how's that work? The BYU Jew? That was a big thing.
I don't know. I don't know if he's continued on with that or if he just let that go.
Well, it's his moment and their moment to shine.
Yep. All right, DJ and PK.
Hashtag Utah.
Well, the program's in a good place right now. As I've said many times, after last season, just didn't sit right with anybody, particularly me. Came back and unfortunately we were able to get the ship righted and everything's on track. The program, like I said, is in a good spot. Got good coaches. Coach Scally will come in and do a great job. Got good players. So now is the time. I'm a free agent. I'm in the transfer portal. So yeah, it's a different feel, but like I said, I'm at peace, and I did not want to be that guy that overstayed his welcome and people just saying, hey, when's this guy going to leave? That was not my intention ever, and I hope I didn't do that. I'm sure with some people I did do that, but to me the timing is right. Well, like I said, I don't want to overstay my welcome. Somebody once told me that every year that goes by you're a coach, 10% of the fan base starts to hate you. And so after 20 years, they all, plus their kids and grandkids, probably hate me. So anyway, but it was a good run. It was a good run. And I'll say it one more time. I didn't want to be that hanger-oner that people just got sick of.
Kyle Whittingham's first public comment since he stepped down as the head coach at Utah. Didn't want to be the guy who hanged on, and he realizes some people think maybe he was that guy.
He's not that guy.
Okay, who are those people?
He's not that guy. I'm all over this. I'll have post a piece here on KSL.com this morning. This is a situation where he took one for the team. He could have decided hey, I'm coming back. I'm coming back for my 22nd year. I'm under contract.
I got a contract. I want to do it. Yeah.
And I think there was some idea of Scally possibly going with Kalani if he takes the Penn State job, because Jay Hill would have most likely gotten the job to succeed Kalani. And so I think everything was explained to Coach Whittingham, and this is what he decided. But he's clearly not done with coaching if it's the right opportunity. He might be done, but right now he's not. You cannot say definitively he's done. He could very well end up being done. And my guess is, and that's not reporting anything, but it's a guess, that probably is the thing. But he just said, man, the phone rings, I will answer it. And as I just previously said, if I'm Michigan, I absolutely give him a holler, or there's going to be a domino effect because Michigan's not going to hire a non-head coach. And if it's Alabama or if it's Arizona State, then if I'm either of those two institutions, I call Coach Whittingham. There's no question about it. I call him and at least have a discussion to see. And even if he doesn't get hired, like one time Kyle was looking for a coordinator, he called Norm Chow to get advice. Well, Norm Chow ended up taking a job.
That's happened a lot.
So
that was how Jerry Pym ended up at UC Santa Barbara.
I would
give him advice, and he took the job.
Have Kyle Whittingham, if I'm either of those ADs or any AD or any president, I call to get his opinion and see what he thinks, because this guy has been around forever and has had a ton of success. He's a stable dude. His feet are exactly where his feet are, his head is, whatever that expression is, and you can't get any more solid. And I believe this is a selfless act that he is doing, because he could have returned for a 22nd season, and he's saying, no, I'll allow Scally to take over. And I think that the administration and the fans of the University of Utah owe him a sense of gratitude, because he could have come back, but he said, no, I'll step away.
So you think the Penn State thing really precipitated all of this? Makes perfect sense.
Oh, I think it was in the mix. I can't say that was the
only reason.
Yeah, because...
But it made it front and center.
At the time, but Kalani didn't end up taking the job,
right?
So he's not going with him. So there's no job to go to. But I think there was no question, and Atawaya was running around putting out those tweets, and I think that was what it was about. And conversations that I've had in the last 48 hours or so forth lead me to believe that was the case. So with all that in mind, I think Kyle Whittingham, this is a phenomenal act that he is doing for the program, and it must not go unnoticed.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. That is what is trending. There are the headlines, and it is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. Shamrock Plumbing bringing you the headlines once again this morning. Shamrock Plumbing, there's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. DJ and PK, we're taking a break. We're coming back. We've got the question of the day on the way. We've got David Locke and Kevin Graham join us to talk Jazz and NFL football later this morning. And we've got more from the Road Home Mediathon. Stay with us, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Utah's best coverage of the Utes, Cougars, Jazz, and Mammoth. Here we go. From the guys who have been there for all the biggest moments in Utah sports history. You're listening to DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're broadcasting live from the Road Home Mediathon. Special thank you to Les Schwab Tire Center for their support. Your donation this hour will be tripled. Donate $50, you give $150. Alta Bank and the Huntsman Family Foundation with matches, and thanks to both of them for their support. Call right now, 801-819-7300, 801-819-7300, and donate, or go to theroadhome.org/donate.
Does Honey ever sing this song to you? Santa Baby.
I can neither confirm nor deny, PK. I can neither confirm nor deny.
Harry down the chimney tonight.
There's a lot of mental images our listeners would rather do without, and I bet
DJ Baby.
Those images that
Harry home from the studio tonight.
that you're trying to conjure up are probably on the list. That
I'm not conjuring up anything. I'm just in the Christmas mood. DJ Baby.
Stop. All right, as fresh as tomorrow's game's the question of the morning. Rooting for those underdogs? Go Tulane. Go James Madison. I mean, this is an easy question when it was our teams playing in this game, or even teams from the conference, because you thought, oh, well, it's money for everybody, and it's going to elevate the conference. We don't really have any tie to Tulane or James Madison. I mean, Red Slots at Tulane. So
I've been in New Orleans.
All right. So, once upon a time, the Super Bowl was in Tulane Stadium, but they tore that one down. They used to have a big stadium. Tore it down and built a smaller, more modern one. They've got a football history there, but they are widely perceived as massive underdogs. You pulling for them? You going to ignore them? Do you care? It's baked into my DNA. I always want to see the little guy win. I grew up in San Diego rooting for the little guy. Chargers, Padres, Aztecs, they were always the little guy. It's big. You're a product of your environment. There it is. Yes, I would love to see James Madison go to Oregon and beat
I can
Ducks.
fully understand where you're coming from that perspective, yeah, because you're always in the shadow, figuratively, of Los Angeles.
100%. Yep.
So I can do that. For me, it was a little different. I grew up in the shadow of Madison Square Garden. I mean,
so do you love the big dog? Because those are your teams in the tri-state area?
There's obviously. I mean, there's an argument to be made there that the country wants the big dogs. They want the brand names because the ratings, which are like the gospel, reflect that.
The ratings drive money, whether they're accurate or not. And that's a whole thing inside the industry. Lots of people in the industry will tell you why they're not. All the ratings are higher this year, all the stories, because they tweaked how they do it. And there's a lot of people inside the industry saying, see, I always knew this was true. I do think, though, that even in a place like New York, there's the little guy. The Yankees are the big guy. The Mets are an expansion team. They're the little guy.
Yeah,
the
that
Giants
was
are established
60 years ago, though.
The Jets are. But don't you think they're punching uphill for life when you're the Mets and the Jets?
Not with the Mets when they're spending that kind of money.
Yeah, okay, well, you got me there.
Yeah, on the payroll.
Yeah.
Fan base-wise, yes.
The Mets, the Jets, and the Nets are all.
But they've exceeded it, that their underdog status with the money that they've been throwing around, and they sell out the ballpark. I went to a game this year, and it was sold out, right, just like it is across town. But, yeah, I mean, they'll always be in the shadow. I would go Clippers-Lakers is probably the ultimate example if you want to go at the pro sport level.
Yeah.
The Clippers have always been viewed as the joke, and the Lakers are they're the beast, obviously. This is different, though, than some random regular season game.
Oh, yeah.
This is where the country is going to be tuning in, and if the little guy wants a chance, they've got a minimum. They got to do what BYU couldn't do against Texas Tech. They've got to be competitive.
I think that the model in college football in so many tournaments, volleyball, soccer, baseball, softball, on down the line, it started with the basketball tournament. Conference champions automatically get in. And so football's kind of adopted that. We played Nick Saban in the last segment, and he's railing against these, the two little guys, James Madison and Tulane, getting in. He's calling them AAA. The way they're going to ace them out and avoid antitrust, I think, is to do away with all the automatic bids and say the top teams in the rankings are in. Now, that's not how any other NCAA sport works, and maybe there's a basis for a lawsuit in that because you can get a lawyer and sue over anything. But I think that's the way around it. And the defense is, it's just the way you rank us when we get on the field. Look, now, It's not fair. It's home games. We know the home team is a massive advantage, but nonetheless, Tulane and James Madison need to go on the road and stick up for G5 teams. And as much as I want to stick up for G5 teams, and I did for a long time, it's a tougher argument. And I saw stuff, and there were national media people saying, quoting Nick saying, I'm old enough to remember when Utah beat Nick in the Sugar Bowl. But it was a different era. With that U team, and you can see it in the records, it was Kyle's 4th year. The team got better every year. He recruited a bunch of guys. They were underappreciated, under-recruited, whatever. He coached them up. There were like 5 or 6 guys on that defense played in the NFL.
I think it was 6.
6, okay. That defense was the real deal. That's a lot of NFL defenders to have on one team.
Yeah.
But that was in that era. In this era.
That's just the starters.
You get, right. In this era, right, there could have been freshmen and sophomore who were playing smaller roles, and down the road they became NFL guys.
Right.
But in this era, it's hard to do that because you start to build that guy starts to make plays, he gets better, he's seen on film, transfer portal, NIL, he's gone. I don't see how now a G5 coach gets to stack recruiting classes one on top of another the same way. It's just not going to work. And you go no farther than the Utah, who's crossed over to the other side of the line, and they go to New Mexico, and they don't just take the OC. They take the quarterback. They take a running back.
Receiver, Davis.
Receiver, you're right. Yeah. And they just got, okay, we'll take one of these. Yeah. What are these G5s supposed to do? I do think the gap is going to widen on the field, no matter how hard they try, no matter how smart they are, because now they're not allowed to stack recruiting classes the way they did in 2004 and 2008, and TCU and Boise State did the same thing, because for a while there, those teams were, whoever it was, they were going in and they were getting great results. Hawaii was the one that fit the norm of what some of the power brokers have talked about. Hawaii went and played Georgia and got smoked in a Sugar Bowl. That was ugly. But for the most part, TCU beat Wisconsin in a Rose Bowl. We all remember Boise State beating Oklahoma. We know Utah won twice.
Boise State had their crack. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
They had a kid.
But I think it's different now in that it's not, the division isn't G5 versus Power 4, because I think that Texas Tech needs to show out, because I think the Big 12's rep is on the line too.
Yep.
And the G5, I could argue perception-wise, Big 12 is closer to G5 than it is to Big 10 and SEC.
Well, I've been arguing that for a few weeks, so you know I'm not going to argue with you.
I don't buy it, but
that's the perception out there.
Right.
And I think it showed up in who wasn't ranked, how long it took for teams to get ranked. ASU didn't get much pub for beating Texas Tech, but when they lost, they got dropped, even though they didn't have their quarterback. So I thought that was a raw deal. I thought Utah and BYU were underranked all year long. Texas Tech has eventually gotten their due. I thought it was slow coming, but they do have a bye, and the one that matters, they got ranked 4.
It was it's a repeat of ASU in 24. They were really slow to get ranked.
Yeah.
And probably deservedly so, because they had sucked the year before. But it took a long time for them to crack the top 15 into November.
It was harder to see the Sun Devils coming, whereas with Texas Tech and the money they spent, we're all staring at them from the get-go.
Yeah, I was nervous about it. I said it all summer, and it's come to pass.
And they beat Utah early in the year. It was a signature win.
There was no reason. On the road.
There was no reason not to say, all right, these guys are doing what they set out to do.
Yeah, but I still think, though, they have got to do it this next game. What they've done is nice, but it's also meaningless in the big boy perception. And if they get worked, presumably, as you say, by Oregon next week, that's a black eye on the Big 12. They need to minimally be competitive, because they got a bunch of NFL dudes, too. They got 2 projected first-round D linemen and edge guys that can cause all sorts of create havoc. With that in mind, so they've got to do well. They need to do minimally what the Devils did against Texas
overtime.
Last year.
Yeah, take it to overtime.
And that was if it's a close game, it doesn't go overtime. That's okay, but they can't have a 34-10 loss. They can't do what BYU has done to Texas Tech or what Utah did eventually.
Nope, that'll be a problem.
Yeah, so that's why the G5 here, they're carrying the banner beyond the G5. Because we're always skeptical of these things and what's it going to be. And it's like every day now, and it's also the teams in power conferences that don't have the money. Literally every day, coaches, administrators are complaining about the NIL. They're complaining about their rosters being rated. And I told you I talked to a coach 2 days ago, and I said, well, the thing doesn't open until the 2nd of January. I said, it doesn't matter. They're all doing it now. It's what Bronco said. There is no enforcement. And so they're
whisper season, he called it.
They're doing it as we speak, and rosters are being pilfered right now. And places like Missouri, Drinkwitz was complaining about Missouri. I mean, they're in the SEC.
Missouri and TCU are losing their quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Hoover's in the portal. Before the bowl game, he's done.
Every quarterback is in the portal.
I know, but it's just an example. You can't wait till the 2nd, and Hoover's not playing in the Alamo Bowl.
Although there is no portal to be in right now, technically, but a player has no.
A player can announce, "I'm going to go in the portal."
And with social media, it's out there and it's widespread, and clearly, they are getting calls. At least from an ancillary, if not directly. And I've got coaches telling me this is happening. I mean, I had one coach tell me that Algier got an offer right down the field. And who was it?
At USC.
Yeah, at SC. And then last night I'm watching, and they're talking about Oregon is offering somebody $700,000. Oregon is going to be up there every single year. And for decades, they have bought their way into the big time. And that's the reality of the situation here. They've got endless amounts of money, and away you freaking go.
Todd Phillips came on the air last year, the UVU basketball coach, and told us that in November he got a call from a coach who he considers a friend to say, everybody's talking about your guy, I got to ask about him too. It's like, I'm semi-apologizing. I feel bad about this, but I don't want to get fired. I got to do my job. And Todd's answer was, I don't know how good my guy is. We're 6 games in. Call me back when we're 16 games in.
Yeah, I think the guy's at Clemson now.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's probably, that makes sense, right? And he's like, that's what your friends do. Your friends just call you up to your face and say, I got a tamper. Tell me about your player.
Well, there's no such thing as tampering if there's no enforcement. Yeah. If there's no enforcement on speeding, is there such a thing as speeding?
There you go. And there's no enforcement.
Right.
But I think we can all go out and root for the G5s. And I will, and we can root for the ACC and the Big 12 because I think they're going to need it. You're right, their credibility's at stake. If your champion gets blown out year after year, you're not going to hold on to that berth. Now, for the Big 12, the champ didn't get blown out last year.
I have no choice but to root for Tech.
Right.
Whether I want to or not.
Yeah, but if it's Oregon, I mean, you always root against Oregon.
Well, I just meant generally speaking.
Generally speaking, yeah, I get it.
No matter who they play.
Right. And if they beat Oregon, then we assume they'll get Indiana, although Indiana's got to get past the winner of the Oklahoma-Alabama game.
Right.
And the good thing for Tech is that'll be a truly neutral field. If Oregon and Texas Tech are going to the Orange Bowl, that's a long way away.
Yeah. I mean, I can MapQuest it if you want to know, but
no.
It's probably didn't one NFL guy when the Packers lost in Seattle or something said they got to go back home 6,000 miles.
I do remember that.
Where are they playing in Russia?
Like, yeah, right. 6,000 miles. You're somewhere in Europe, man. 1,500 miles, maybe. Try something like that.
Right.
All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're broadcasting live from the Road Home Mediathon. Housing teams working with landlords and property managers across Salt Lake County to help the folks here at the Road Home find the best places suited to their needs and circumstances as they help people transition back into a self-supportive state. And you can call and help with that, 801-819-7300. 801-819-7300. Your donation is tripled this hour by Alta Bank and the Huntsman Family Foundation. You can also donate online at theroadhome.org/donate. Theroadhome.org/donate. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nobody brings you better coverage of the teams you're passionate about than these guys.
Try some more.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The artist of the day today, Taylor Swift. Getting you ready for the holidays with Taylor Swift and Christmas songs from the Taylor Swift Holiday Collection. That was released back in 2007. It's brought to you by Live Nation. For all the live concerts and events in 2025, check out livenation.com. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. And PK will try to hit on this a little more in the 8 o'clock hour. Kyle Whittingham spoke with the media. How chaotic was it there? Did everybody show up as you expected?
Oh, yeah.
Massive circle around. I heard the jugs gun in the background.
We were indoors, and
boom.
It was over to the side there. Devin Dampier, who is one of the more delightful kids you're ever going to be around, he went first because they were having a chapel session before, so Kyle was over there or whatever he's doing. So Devin comes first, and he was like, man, look at all these people. And he's so upbeat and so happy all the time and so engaging. And so he was making jokes about, I think every outlet was represented. I even joked, it was the old days. The Tribune had 2 people because newspapers have taken a hit in staffing.
Right.
And I made sure those are my guys. I had an extended conversation with them to make sure they understood what was going on, because I think I have a good handle on it based on relationships. It was what I thought it would be, and it cemented what I already knew, what I thought I knew anyway. And this is the situation. I don't believe he was forced out. I told the guys, don't use the word forced.
DJ PK, we will get to that coming up and why that word is floating out there and why that might or might not be accurate, but why it's out there. We will get to that next. Stay with us, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Over 2 decades of sports radio dominance in Utah.
My favorite.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Well, the program's in a good place right now. As I've said many times, after last season, just didn't sit right with anybody, particularly me. Came back and unfortunately we were able to get the ship righted and everything's on track. The program, like I said, is in a good spot. Got good coaches. Coach Scally will come in and do a great job. Got good players. So now is the time.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I got a new headset during the commercial break. See how well that's working?
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I didn't
The microphone
notice.
was broken on the other one. This one I can't hear anything on.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah, me and Christian are like,
What are you waiting for?
A stupor of thought over here, man. You're in deep ponderance.
All right, we were talking about Kyle Whittingham before the break. This whole notion of, was he pushed out? Was he forced out? What happened? And you thought earlier this morning, you said, there are a lot of factors. Nothing's happening for one thing. There's a lot of moving pieces here. But one thing was Kalani getting really close to taking a Penn State job. You got to have a staff.
Yeah.
And Kalani isn't going to take his defensive coordinator, Jay Hill, because Jay Hill's probably going to get promoted and be the head coach at BYU. So who's he going to turn to? Somebody who runs a similar defense, somebody he has a personal relationship with for a decade. He's going to call Morgan. You can see how the pieces start moving.
Oh, yeah. It's an easy connection. And so, and Scally was and is a hot commodity. I was saying when we were down at the Alamo Bowl, I had heard that Texas wanted him. Remember, what was the Alamo Bowl, 2019 or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and guys from Texas, I rode the shuttle with them, and media guys from Texas, and all they want to talk about was what did I think about Scally's availability. And this is back 5-6 years ago.
Right.
So he's been thought of. You've been trained by a Hall of Fame coach.
So, of course, people are coming for you.
And you have the recommendation of Urban Meyer, who tried to hire you. And I'm sure Ron McBride gives him a favorable
recommendation.
So you got 3 lifers there that carry stature in the business. And Scally now has to the point where he didn't even really need that. He's got his own stature, right? And the guy will, in an interview, he'll just sweep you off your feet. There's no question about that. There are few people on this earth that I think more highly of than Morgan Scally as a person. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it.
And he's running top 20 defenses year
put
after
guys
year.
in the pros.
Yeah.
And who's next? I don't know. How do they do it? Who's going to be the big-time sack leader next year? I don't know, but I know they're going to have it. right? And they're going to lose a couple of linebackers. They're going to go off. So who's going to be great linebackers? Well, I know they got a haul. You never know who's coming back. You know who's leaving if they're seniors, and we know Devontae and Barton are gone.
Yeah.
And Hall's supposed to come back, but all I know is they're going to have good linebackers and they're going to have good secondary, right? And away they go. And so with that in mind, I mean, that's why the running that Kansas State did was so shocking, because they never do it against that team and that program. So all that being said, that meant that he was a hot commodity, and I think there were conversations there. And that's why I think, Kyle, this is one of the more selfless acts that I have seen in 40 years in the business, is that he's stepping down when coaching isn't out of his blood. And I asked him that yesterday, and he said, well, it's never going to go out of his blood. And I'd imagine that. I've been around old coaches. You've been around Ron McBride. It's still in his blood, and he's in his 80s, right?
Yep.
And he still loves it, right? It's what he does. When I get done sports talk, I'll listen to sports talk radio and watch sports because it's in my blood. It's what I enjoy. Not necessarily something that I'm going to do forever, but I'll always enjoy sports. And with that in mind, same thing with Kyle, but I don't think beyond that, coaching is completely out of his blood, and if the situation presents itself, he will be a coach next year. Maybe it's in the NFL. I've had conversations with him over the years. You know, his dad coached in the NFL. Clearly, he's got NFL contacts and Andy Reid and whatnot, and he's. I always thought Majerus, instead of going back into coaching when he went to St. Louis, he should have just been a consultant. I will teach your team how to play team defense, because he was a genius at it, right? And Kyle, defensively, I think he's a genius at defense, and so he could do that if he didn't want to have a literal day-to-day job. We'll see what happens. He's open to anything. If I'm Michigan right now, there is no doubt in my mind I call him, if nothing more than to pick his brain.
All that makes sense. You, Mr. Logical. I thought I was supposed to be Mr. Logical. You're supposed to be Mr. Emotion.
Well, I have emotion on it too, and my emotion is that this is a selfless act he is doing for the program. He served this football program for, 32 years, was it? And now he could be the coach for his 22nd season. He's saying, I don't want to be the guy that stays too long. And then Gordon asks him, well, who's kicking you out? And then he goes, well, you are. You know, he joked. And
that was a question that didn't really get answered.
Well, I don't think anybody's kicking him out literally in the manner that we use the phrase, quote, kicking out.
But he said some people thought maybe he stayed too long.
Well, then those are wacko people if they think that.
Well, if that's okay. But the whole thing is like, yes, if it's wacko in section whatever, row whatever, well, you can't control what 50,000 people and then plus whoever's at home watching on TV. If that's who he's referencing, you know, is he referencing coaches or athletic department leadership or the school president?
Right.
That's who really matters.
No question. Guys, it doesn't matter what I think.
Now, from their perspective, they don't want to lose Morgan.
Right.
And have Kyle step down, and plenty of coaches stayed on a year or two too many. Right, and to have that scenario and have Morgan take off for one of these opportunities.
That's why it's a selfless act.
Exactly. But that would be a nightmare, and I think that, you know, from Morgan to AD to president, I get how anyone might think, oh, yeah, they helped do this.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's a whole big picture. It's a whole big puzzle here, and he looked at it and said, I'll take the hit. I'll step back.
Because he has a contract, I guess they could fire him and pay him off.
Then it would be messy. See, he could have said, no, screw you. I got a contract. You're going to have to fire me. Well, my gosh, the President Randall and Mark Harlan would be lambasted if they fired a coach who just went 10-2 and is the winningest coach in all time. I agree. And blah, 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 blah. But they couldn't do that. So he says, no, I'm not going to let it get to that point.
Yeah.
This is I don't want to get too crazy here, but the word selfless, I don't want to say heroic act. That's too over the top. But I think it's something that he decided what is in the best interest of the program, because I'm not going to be here in 2 and 3 years. Now, the interesting thing is that if he were to take another head coaching job, he very well could be at some place for 2 or 3 years and provide the bridge that particular program needs to be good. Maybe it's depending on who the program is, what it's about, and so we'll see.
What he clearly wouldn't get up, I think the word is opaque, what he clearly didn't give up, didn't hint at, didn't deny, wouldn't be pinned down on, is how contentious were the conversations leading up to this? Because what I don't get in all of this is if he doesn't have the motivation to go on 2 or 3 years, and you brought up, man, when they signed the Miami game, right, he juggled, I'm not going to be around for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's now only 2 years away.
Right.
Right? If he does take another job, which he appears to, so was there something contentious, because we do know about Whittingham's having a chip on their shoulder. Was there some contentious conversation? Is there a part of him saying, I'll show you, I'll go somewhere for 4 or 5 years and crush it? Because I don't think any of us thought he was going to stay in Utah for 4 or 5 years.
No. I will answer that question if it happens.
Right. And it may not happen. I think what you floated about the NFL, I think it would be great. I think the NFL is different in different ways. And I told you I talked to someone close to him who you actually suggested I reach out to. It's not like you didn't have any part in this. And, you know, and there's, man, you talk to people. Mark Harlan's rubbed some people the wrong way. There's no way around it. He's made a lot of changes in the athletic department. Yeah. He's forced other people out.
And those people are still in the community.
And they're still in the community, and they're behind the scenes, and they talk, and it spreads. I think hiring Alex was a big hurdle because Alex was off doing his NBA thing, not really connected, but he heard from his teammates, and they were all mad at Mark because he didn't hire Alex the last time. And then when they went back to him this time, I even said to one of Alex's ex-teammates, why do you think he's going to take it? And they gave me a list of reasons. I said, yeah, but people like you have been pooping on the process and on Mark. Why would he go to that now?
Oh, man, like, you made me nervous.
I know. I almost messed up there. And he basically said, he goes, yeah, we have to fix that. I'm like, yeah, because it's what you've been saying. I've been hearing you say it, right? So there's all this out there, and when you ask around about this inevitably gets dragged into it. And I wonder how much of that emotion should justifiably be dragged into it, and how much of that is just left over from other stuff, and it contaminates every discussion. Because the thing that is interesting is that whole time at Penn State, Kyle's like, I'm leaving him in a bad spot. If he runs off and takes something and gets something big, and then I leave, because the thing coaches feel, and you know Lavelle felt this.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle doesn't want this thing to fall off after he lives. You build something, you want to see it keep going, and you want to see it keep going with your people.
Yeah, 100%. Lavelle was furious.
Yes.
As every player who ever tied a shoe in a BYU locker room was furious. They came out of the woodworks. I was the beat writer at the time, and they were talking to me constantly. Yes, nobody wants to see that.
So there is clearly a scenario, and Kyle didn't spell all of this out, and Mark hasn't said anything publicly, and really Mark limits his public appearances, so the public's going to think what they think because he's not out there managing the storyline for his own benefit very much. But with the whole Penn State thing happening, you can see where your scenario about Kyle doing something selfless, makes sense. Because he can see how, everything that's lined up, and it could be hard for the program to go on.
Yeah.
And that's why I think going to the NFL is great, because I think do something different. And I did talk to somebody who is bitter, and so there's all this bitterness. But the one thing they said that I thought was really telling was, Kyle is not he's not an old guy who's beaten down by the changes in the game.
No,
he sees
that's
NIL
what's
as a
remarkable.
new challenge, and they were very definitive about this. He sees NIL as a challenge. He sees the transfer portal as a challenge. He may not like it, but he spends about 3 seconds not liking it, and then he's on to how do I adjust? And he said, this is a person, and we've all heard this story, and it's random when you hear it, but it's an important detail. This is a guy who's on the treadmill or on the Stairmaster, and he can't let his mind stop. It goes back to what Chris Hill said when he hired him 21 years ago. He's smart. People say, oh, he's smart. It's kind of a thing you say, and it's true. But you really have to underline it here. Kyle's really smart. And in that era, they're really trying to punch above their weight. So Chris is trying to find someone who can figure out new and inventive ways to punch above their weight. That's what he's underlining when he says Kyle's smart. And now you got someone 20 years later saying, this guy's brain doesn't stop on a Stairmaster. He has to do a crossword puzzle because he's got to figure something out. So a new challenge, I think the NFL, it's different. It would really revitalize whatever is stale after you do the same job for 20 years, although he'll tell you switching leagues made it a new job. I think it'd be a new challenge. I think it'd be awesome. And I think everyone, it's easy to say, well, go to Kansas City because your relationship with Reed. There's all sorts of speculation. I was reading a story last night. The 8 best coaching jobs, 8 jobs that could be open, 2 are, 6 more could be. And they set a couple aside, and one of them was, Well, Andy Reid ain't getting fired, but at some point he's going to decide he's had enough. And if it's this year, then Kansas City goes right to the number one job because you got to have a quarterback in the NFL, and you get to work with Patrick Mahomes, who's going to fix his ACL. And that's it, right? So maybe Kansas City isn't a good fit because Andy won't be there. If he is there, it's a great fit. But if not, Whittingham Consulting, send me tape. I will find, whether it's working with NFL people, I will find you undrafted free agents. Kyle's got an eye for talent, if that's where he wants to go. Or for one team in each league, sign each team, like, I will help you analyze all these guys in the transfer portal, and I will analyze high school players. Here's who you need to get. I'm the guy who saw Eric Weddle when everybody else walked by him. And that story times 100 or times 500, right?
So I talked to Tom Homo. I was stuck at the airport the other day, so I was looking for stuff to do and talked to him, and he brought up Weddle.
Yeah, well, because Urban just did it too. Did you see the video with Urban telling the story again?
Right, yeah. And because Tom, he said, he told me some recruiting stories that because he coached at Cal and Stanford, and so he was out, he said, we were at a small high school, but they had talent. And that Tom tells me the story that everybody, there's a bunch of coaches there, and so, they have a super tight relationship. Kyle always calls him Tommy. As recently as 2 days ago, we go way back, he told me, right? And so they're there, and everyone's looking at player X, and Tom looks at Kyle's paper, and he's got 3 or 4 of the guys written down. He's like, what's that about? And he's, well, I like these guys. Yeah. And so he said that dude, even back then, always had an eye of who you are now, what you can become. And he's a master at it. That's just a fact, man. I'm not lathering on anything that isn't true. I like the guy. There's no question. At this point, if he ain't coaching Utah anymore, there's no point in me trying to hold back in terms of our relationship. Right. You know what I mean? It's over. Right.
It is over.
Yeah.
It's over. He's stepping down.
Makes me sad, but it's over. So everybody knows that. But I think I can speak somewhat objectively in terms of what his skill set is. And I believe that if he wants to be employed for the 26 football season, whatever that encompasses, whatever level, he can be. There's no doubt in my mind. It's just a question of what does he want to do, and that's what he's doing now. The good thing is, when he says he's at peace with it, I don't think that he would be saying it multiple times, publicly, privately, if that wasn't the case. So I can't sit here and just let's slap down Mark Harlan and President Randall and just say, my gosh, what were they thinking? I don't think that's the case. I mean, and I could be wrong because I haven't spoken to either of those two guys.
Yeah, but I think that Kyle addresses difficult subjects going back to when he was defensive coordinator, so for 25 or 30 years, and you walk away thinking, I may disagree with him, but I get why he says what he says. And when he says he's at peace and you can see his face and you can hear his voice, there's a lot of truth in that.
Right.
Now, he may not want to tell you everything.
And he's certainly not telling me everything. Right. I'll be the first to admit that.
I know there could be more, but I also think there's a big general truth about that. And what I think is it may have been a rocky road to get to that, and he may not have always been at peace with it, but he is now. He has stepped back, and the bigger thing, and there may have been difficult conversations. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. I don't know. There could have been. But I do think that he's processed it all, and I do go back. We're all products of what we've seen. Lavelle had an idea of how he wanted the program to go after he stepped down. That wasn't his guy, and then there were too many losses, and Lavelle was so frustrated by the situation. Specific conversations with him, and I am sure I'm not the only one who had him, because if he was telling me, he was telling 25 people before he told me. But just so frustrated. And Kyle doesn't want that at the U. There's no way.
And I don't think that's going to happen.
Right. Yes, but I think he also sat back and thought, Morgan's had how many offers over how many times, Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's intimately aware of all that stuff. Every last thing that has gone on, he knows.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nobody brings you better coverage of the teams you're passionate about than these guys.
Try some more.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're joined now by David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz. David, good morning.
You have my 100% complete attention. I mean, a closed room, nothing going on, no stairs, heavy breathing, no throwing skis into the back of the car, nothing else today. 100% complete attention. It's my Christmas present to two of the greatest of all time, two idols of the business, two statues outside of some radio hall somewhere in Utah, two Hall of Fame quality individuals who have changed the landscape of radio in Utah.
Thank you, David.
That's Locke and DJ.
David Locke is locked in.
Where are you guys today?
We're at the Road Home Mediathon. We're broadcasting in a tent in Midvale. People can donate online right now. theroadhome.org/donate. And the money will be matched in the 8 o'clock hour by Meyer Brown and the Huntsman Family Foundation. So the money's getting tripled right now. 801-819-7300.
Say that again.
801-819-7300 to support Utah's largest homeless shelter and the supporting housing services that they provide.
DJ, your commitment to Road Home over the decades is a testament to who you are as a human and how wonderful you are. PK.
What?
Have you ever thought of anyone else other than yourself?
No. Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's a lie. We are building an
Total
enormous lie
right
now.
I gotta fit I gotta fit, like, there's nothing that's a bigger lie in the world. But and there's probably nobody more altruistic with hours of endless hours of their time and real life to helping others. But I gotta fit the brand that PK's built.
That's true, man. I cultivated this for a long time. Shut the hell up.
It's one of the greatest lies. It's one of the greatest lies of all time. If anyone actually knew you, and all the things you and Jackie have done.
We just had Celeste Eggert on, and we were talking about people they collaborate with in the community. And she mentioned the Utah Food Bank and dozens of pantries across the state and how many of the Road Home programs get supported by them. And she talked about the local school systems and how great they are to work with. And I would just add foster care into that because it's tragic that 200 kids were at the Road Home last night. They saw 2,000 kids over the course of the year. But without people who are active in the foster community, that number would just go way up. That number would go way up without people in the foster community. And that is what I have to say about Patrick Kinahan without saying any more.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
PK, so I would give you a hug after that cheap shot. You should punch me in the gut, and then we should laugh and you realize there was no seriousness in anything I was saying.
I knew it.
Now, let us talk about what Will Hardy said very seriously. I thought it was a good answer, but I think it needs to be amplified because it needs to be repeated. And in the last
I heard. Wait. I got to clarify this. I heard this quote. First of all, that game did not end until like 2 a.m. last night. Holy cow, 80 freaking free throws. Yep. Number two, I go home, and my process when I go home is after I finish postcast and posting and getting out of there and mellowing out, I drive home, and then I re-listen to the Will Hardy postcast or post-game and any other post-game interviews, and usually just if you really want to know, have a bowl of cereal and whatever, and then I watch the other games that were close that night. I heard the Will Hardy post-game last night, and the first thing I said is, oh my gosh, PK is going to repeat that for every day for the next 5 years.
I tell the truth, man. Tell me how you feel. Give me as real as you could possibly be. You can't go 100% real, but it seems Hardy is getting closer and closer to that 100% mark that I look for, that we all look for when we hear coaches, players, whomever give interviews.
Yeah, he's really freaking good.
Well, I like the fact that we're seeing negativity from him because he was really, really positive, and he was the new guy. And he had a team that had been torn down on purpose. And he had a lot of young guys. So I get why he had to be super positive. But it isn't positive all the time. And so if he gets mad in a huddle, he gets mad in a huddle. He's not the first coach to get mad in a huddle. He's not the last coach to get mad in a huddle. He got mad in a huddle. But I thought what he said about Keyonte George, using him as an example, if you put in the work in the summer, this is the progress you can make. physically, mentally. It all comes together, and we can see it coming together. We can see that Keyonte is a much better player than he was a year ago. But I think the thing to amplify is we saw the same thing with Walker Kessler. The second year, and we went over for the media day, and when we asked him about, hey, we've been doing this a long time, and we used to live in Southern California. We'd hear Laker people, it's the third year. I mean, that was like 40 years ago. People have been saying this forever, right? And Walker, his head goes to the side, the shoulders kind of go back, and the first thing I thought is, he's already had this conversation with Will Hardy. He's already had this conversation with Danny Ainge, and now we're going to make him have it on the air. He's tired of this conversation. But he clearly listened and applied himself because he made a big jump the third year. It's not a fluke. This keeps happening, and every young player has got to know that.
So there's two things I think that happen here. So I've talked about this a lot. So let me go three things. So I'll repeat myself for those people who've heard me a lot. They'll hear this a lot. I always think I've said this all the time. So the player comes in the league. I don't think we have any idea how exhausted they are from the end of the college season to the draft process. They come to the league and they get their ass kicked. Okay? And they go in the off season, and because they've always been great, they go work on all the things and where they got their ass kicked. And they come back, and guess what happens? They get it kicked again in the exact same fashion. And then in between year 2 and year 3, they say, oh, wait a sec. Okay, this league's awesome. They now get it. And they're like, what are the skills that I actually have that are going to make me an NBA player? So for Walker, it was strength. So he worked on his strength and his rebounding and his shot blocking, and he became a better pick setter. And it wasn't an elegant three-point shooter, a crossover dribble, or any of the things, right? Like we're watching Kyle Filipowski. He'll get it next year, but Kyle Filipowski's always been bigger, stronger, and gone over the top of everyone. He can't do anything over the top of anyone anymore. And he actually, defensively, is inadequate at preventing people from going over the top. So he has to learn an entirely new way of playing. He'll get it next year. You can see signs of it. Keyonte had the same thing. And what happens, so that's part one, is that it's that process that they finish the first year, they go work on the exact same things because they're so great. They've always been able to overcome it. They don't actually work on the skills that are going to make them great. They do that in between year 2 and year 3, and that's when they become the player they're going to be. The second thing that happens is they don't have fun the second year. They're unhappy. They're miserable. It's not fun. It's a new life. There's nothing new about it. It's the grind. It's a really unhappy year. I know that sounds weird, but they are human. They are 20. They're in a non-natural development process. They're not making new friends. They're not goofing off. They're not going to bars. They're not doing any of the things that other 20 and 21-year-olds are doing. And they're actually failing at 21 or 22, which most 20-year-olds don't do. We coddle these kids for a long time so they never fail. And they're failing, and they're failing in front of 19,000, and they're failing in front of 500,000, and they're failing in front of social media, and they're really miserable. They're not happy people. And they kind of, in between year 2 and year 3, do exactly what Walker talked about, was meeting with a sports psychologist to figure out how to be happy. Exactly what Keys talked about, worked with a sports psychologist to have, they literally have to figure out life. And it's just a natural development process. It's both on the court and off the court. What we're watching at a Key is pretty awesome and beyond the natural development, though. This is second level, third level, fourth level stuff. I mean, he's changing the dynamic of the questions. I mean, my first question on my podcast today is is Lowry, Key, and Ace a good enough core? And the answer for the first time might be yes. It all depends on Ace's development, but maybe. If Ace is going to turn out to be a top 15 player in the NBA or top 10 player like you hope he is, like Jason Tatum or Tracy McGrady or all the comps, then, yeah, maybe this is enough.
So with that in mind, when do you think the Jazz will play on Christmas Day again?
2029.
2029. So we are in the 2020, 25, 26 season, 26, 27, 27, 28. Yep. So it's that 4 years?
I mean, there's a few teams we can put in Christmas Day for here into eternity, so there aren't that many spots, right?
Right, but obviously they put the better teams in, unless those teams really, really suck.
You got to be top. You got to be top 4. You got to be top 4 in your conference to have a chance, or be LA or New York.
And you feel in 4 years that's a legitimate opportunity?
Yeah,
okay.
That's the earliest.
I hope so. I hope sooner, actually.
I think this is coming together. This is really, I'm not trying to be a homer, and you guys aren't, you can shoot me down. It's a wildly successful season, right? Like, Lowry's proven that Lowry's back, like, to what he was, and has gotten better.
Yeah, he's
Keyonte
fine.
has taken a jump none of us could have ever imagined.
He's taken 5 jumps. Yeah.
Ace
is there, man.
It's there. Like, we all see it.
Yeah,
like, it's just going to take time.
Right.
Yeah, like, I mean, I was with Ronnie Price last night. Ronnie Price, like, oh, my God, he's awesome. Like, you talk to any NBA player, they're just like, oh, my gosh. Or, like, I was talking to Mike Trudell, Lakers reporter, last night. He's like, what do you think of Ace? I was like, oh, no. Like, and then halfway through the game, I got a text from him that was like, oh, my gosh. I was like, yeah. Like, everyone sees it. He's got to figure it out.
The thing that scares me is that it's too good right now. They're not
going
to get the
100%.
pick.
No, we have to get the pick. There's no choice.
Yeah, and everybody says that, but I right now, if everything stays the same, I would bet no. And it's not. It's partly, largely because of what I see from them, but so many crappy teams. It seems like this year's more than ever.
Yeah,
because
no, I mean,
because there is.
That's why.
I mean, nobody expected. I mean, no, you're right. I mean, Indiana, Sacramento, the Clippers were not on the bingo card for being in this group.
And this bad for New Orleans?
Right. I mean, yeah, another one. So I think there's a chance we can get to 5, by the way. I looked at it last night pretty hard. That's the best we can do is 5. I think there's 3 teams. We're 8 right now. I think there's 3 teams that could jump ahead of us before the end of the season.
Which 3?
Why you ask such silly questions?
Clippers.
Charlotte.
Okay.
Charlotte's roster last night, they played their first full roster. It looked all right. Clippers, but I don't know how. I mean, they're a dumpster fire in New Orleans. But they don't own their picks, that's why.
Right, they have no incentive to – both the Clippers and New Orleans have no incentive.
Right. And then New Orleans has an interim coach who's trying to prove he deserves the job, so they're going to be going pretty hard.
Yeah.
Clippers, I don't know how, though. They're awful. I mean, there's something new in this league, by the way. Old is bad. Phoenix was the team last year that was old and slow. Yeah. And this is the team this year. Like, old is bad now. Old used to be how you win in the league. Old is now bad. We're playing too fast, too many possessions, too much ground to cover. Slow and old is bad. Sacramento, I can't figure out what they're doing. The only thing there is, like, Doug Christie's trying to save his job, I don't think 4, that's a lot. 4 wins is a lot for us to have them catch us. So I think the best we can do is 5. I think we'll be at 6 is my guess. It'll be a very nerve-wracking lottery day.
All right, we've got to go. I'm going to leave you with this, David.
Wait, what?
Yes, we
but
do.
I want time with you. I adore you.
I know.
I think you're incredible. You're inspiring to me. You make my days better. My Fridays uplifted by you. Your community assets. And now you're telling me I don't get any more time with you?
I'm so lucky, David. I get every day.
So one of our bosses has texted us, quote, I cultivated this for a long time. Shut the hell up. Close quote. I literally had to pull over the side of the road. I was laughing too hard and I'm crying. So there you go. Way to provoke that. Good work, David.
I have no idea what just happened.
That was what PK said. That was what PK said when you were backtracking on your cheap shot. He said that, and one of our bosses thinks that was hilarious.
I've cultivated this for a long time.
He knows PK, and PK said, I cultivated this for a long time. Shut the hell up.
Don't want to blow it now.
Yeah. He found that, one of our bosses found that very, very funny.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, it is
there you
funny.
go. And we couldn't have done it without you. Thanks for provoking that.
Well, I'm glad. Now, were you pleased with my 100% focus today? I mean, even when you asked me,
it was excellent.
The teams, I didn't have a computer in front of me. I'd locked myself in a closet. I was there for it. It won't happen again, by the way. It's only because the snow sucks.
Okay. Yes. As soon as it snows, you'll be completely distracted.
I'll be on the chairlift when we hold our conversation.
Yep. David Locke, radio voice of the Jazz, here at the Jazz and the Magic tomorrow night. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, broadcasting live from the road home. The Mediathon continues. The road home last year served over 8,000 people across the shelter and housing programs. 2,000 of them were kids. 90% of the families and individuals living in the Road Homes housing program stay housed and never return to homelessness. You can help right now with a donation online at theroadhome.org/donate or call 801-819-7300. 801-819-7300. Or go to theroadhome.org/donate. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Utah's best coverage of the Utes, Cougars, Jazz, and Mammoth. Here we go. From the guys who have been there for all the biggest moments in Utah sports history. You're listening to DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The Hercules First Federal Credit Union Salt Lake County High School Players of the Week are Kia Newton from Olympus High and Isaiah Reiser from Copper Hills High. Newton scored 22 points in a win over Salem Hills, followed up with 25 points and 10 steals in a win over Box Elder, and capped the week with 24 points in a victory over Skyline. Reiser scored 27 points and added 8 assists in a win over West Jordan, had 16 points in a loss to Crimson Cliffs, and scored 30 points in a win over Mountain View and added 19 more points in a win over Cottonwood. The Salt Lake County Players of the Week Award, proudly presented by Hercules First Federal Credit Union. At Hercules, they're celebrating the everyday victories. Hercules First Federal Credit Union, growing stronger together.
I'm going to go with the Saints as my lock of the week.
Your lock of the week.
Yeah.
Do we know Yock's lock of the week?
No, I think he's beaten us. He doesn't need to pick him anymore.
He does need to, because if he loses, that's how we could close ground.
Okay, we'll give him
the Commanders over the Eagles.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's see. I had this mapped out for this week. What did I have? Ooh, I don't like that one anymore. I was looking at that Cincinnati-Miami game. That game's now wildly unpredictable. I need something else.
I'd probably go Cincinnati.
I can't take the Bills over the Browns, although that looks like a lock, but I've already used the Bills, so that one's out.
Yeah. I used the Bills in a loss. That sucked. To the Patriots.
Oops.
The ultimate surprise team in my mind this year in the league.
Boy, this is rough. Oh, have I used the Texans yet?
I was thinking about the Texans, too.
The Texans are playing the Raiders, and the Texans are a mess, and I have not used them, I
think I've used them.
Let me make sure.
The Raiders are a mess. The Texans aren't a mess.
I mean, yes, the Raiders are. Oh, I did use Houston. I used Houston week 11. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm getting painted into a corner here, PK. It's gotten to that point of the season.
Well, we're all going to get there. It's like death.
Oh, thanks.
We'll all get there one day. Unavoidable.
Now, you know what? Maybe I need to go with a Monday night game. San Francisco's playing Indianapolis. That's a bit dicey, but Indy has dropped off.
You know what? The saying is that Father Time catches up to us, but I don't know that Grandfather Time catches up to us.
I'm going to
go Rivers.
I'm going to take the 49ers. Over the Colts, I have not. It looks like I haven't used San Francisco yet.
Yeah, that's probably a wise pick.
All right, San Francisco it is, and we will get Yock's pick. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Broadcasting from the Mountain Home Services Studio, this is 97.5 KZNS FM Colvin, 1280 KZNS AM Salt Lake City, and 102.7 KSL FM HD2 Salt Lake City Midvale. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Over 2 decades of sports radio dominance in Utah. My favorite. This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination at KSLSports.com/contest and listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week, sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. DJ PK, and we're joined now by Kevin Graham to talk a little football. KG, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Hello to everybody at the road home. Been a part of many of those radiothons. I think it's tremendous. I'm glad that they're still doing great things for the community and for those that are in need. And I think it's great that you guys are a part of it as always. So, hi.
Hi. Listeners can donate right now at 801-819-7300, 801-819-7300, or go online to theroadhome.org/donate. Kevin.
Yes, I always thought it was great, by the way, because all radio companies would come together as one. I don't know what the format is now, but back in the day, remember, like competitors, we'd all come together and raise money for a great cause. So I always thought that was special.
It looks like there's 9, maybe 10 radio stations here today. There's
we're in a big tent in the parking lot. It's down west of I-15, kind of what? Midvale? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, very nice. It's different than what it used to be. Yeah.
They tore down that old building. I think it's an apartment complex.
Unfortunately, for some reason, it's pushing 60. So a lot of times we're cold because they just put us in a parking lot and put carpet on there. But it's not too bad today.
No,
I think it's good.
Unseasonably warm here. Yeah. All right.
It's much better than the last live show you did where airplanes were flying next to you. So I could actually hear you. So that's good.
That was awesome. The airstrip down there.
Air Force One was there too. I think.
Air Force One went by in Spanish Fork. It was great. All right, Kevin. Theoretically, you could be talking to somebody who's in the fantasy football semifinals, and you could be talking to somebody whose opponent has Puka Nacua, who just went for 46 points thanks to 12 catches, 225 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Awesome!
Wow. Well, so you had a great night then, didn't you?
No,
yeah, good for you.
I'm beaten like a drum. And
you're playing somebody that has
I'm playing
Puka.
someone who has that. I do not have Puka Nacua. No, he has Puka Nacua.
Yeah, no, I have Puka in one of my leagues, but that's a league where actually, both my leagues, I started 6-2 in both leagues and then haven't won a game since. So I haven't made the playoffs. So, but yes, Puka was amazing. What a game that was. I mean, seriously, like that. You know, everyone's proclaiming it the game of the year, and I think it's hard to argue against that. But just to see Seattle and Darnold be Darnold, meaning, you know, he always seems to revert to Jets Darnold when the pressure's on. You know, he had 4 INTs when he played the Rams the first time and they lost. He had 2 INTs in this game. But somehow, you know, I think it all started with the punt return, with the touchdown for Seattle with the punt return. He gutted through, man, and the Rams kind of went quiet on offense after Stafford was just blowing them up all game long against, you know, I think I heard you earlier, DJ, and you're right. I mean, Seattle's got a great defense. And, you know, and then but then they stopped, and Seattle kept going. And then you got the 2-point, three 2-point conversions, although I agree with your Well, I agree, because the third one, I 100% agree with you, PK. I mean, you can't, and it's the same thing I noticed, too, as I'm watching the game. I'm sitting there, why isn't Herbie and Al Michaels talking about the fact that once the ball was hit off the helmet or whatever it was, and it goes into the end zone, and Charbonneau, who gets credit for the 2-point conversion, literally just reaches down and picks up the ball. He's not even trying to recover it for a 2-point conversion. You know why? Because the play is dead. Like, right. I mean, the referees are waving their arms.
It wasn't alive. How do you award 2 points on a dead play?
I agree. Like, I don't understand that either. Like, and if they knew it was a live play and they didn't blow it dead, you know damn well the Rams would have been trying to get the ball as well.
Yeah, it would have been the usual rugby scrumble for the ball.
Yeah.
So if a whistle incorrectly blows a play dead,
then it's dead.
So
it's dead.
Is it 0 points or is it a do-over?
No, it's dead. It's an inadvertent whistle. They screwed up. Sucks for everybody involved.
Yeah, but unless the whistle wasn't blown. But to me, as I looked at the play, it appeared to me. I swear I saw referees waving their arms above their head.
Yeah.
What's that?
All the players stopped. There was something that happened because 22
which was the
players
whistle?
To stop. Right?
Charbonneau just picked it up as if it was a dollar bill he found on the sidewalk.
Yeah, it was a rando quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was picking up to hand the ball to the ref. Like, here you go, ref. Sorry, it sucks. We didn't get the 2-point conversion. We're going to lose. Oh, wait, timeout. No.
If they're going to assume that, I'm going to assume a Seattle guy picked it up, and then he would have returned it 100 yards. Or a Ram guy.
Ram guy, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So it just, I don't know. Again, what makes this league great, but still, man, and Puka sends the tweet out again after he did all the dumb things he did earlier, and it's like, I get it, but and he's not wrong. I mean, because I don't think the refs messed that up. Like, I want more clarification, and for whatever reason, I'm not seeing it, as I'm reading like crazy today, and I'm not seeing a lot of people like raising their hand going, like, time out. Like, that ball was dead. So, whatever.
Right.
Hell of a game.
And I expect more out of Al Michaels because he's the second best broadcast major to graduate from Arizona State.
Nice.
I know. It's good. In the Pat Kinahan wing of the Walter Cronkite building, there's a picture of Al Michaels. Like, they did just put a little picture in there because you allowed it, PK. I think that's awesome.
Sure. We stick together.
Yeah, exactly.
So there should have been 6 minutes left, and it should have been 30-28, and who knows what happens.
Yeah, maybe they still win the game.
But, yeah, exactly. But you know what? That's important, though. 30-28 is different than 30-30.
Right.
So I mean, come on, whatever.
So you think though that were the preview of the NFC title game?
I think so.
If
I mean,
they
I think
can
right
meet
now,
that
how do you argue? Yeah, I mean, I mean, how do you argue against those two teams right now? I mean, the 49ers are sneaky. Keep an eye on them still. It's just I'm amazed how well they're playing this year with all the loss of personnel. And Green Bay keeps losing games. Denver beats them last week.
Parsons is out. Is that defense going to be
I got
tough
you.
enough?
That's why I said and Green Bay.
Well,
I didn't say and Green Bay.
No, I'm with you. Like, Green Bay and Philly could pull it off, but there's no way you could rank them 1 and 2 right now.
Oh, no,
and
not at
San
all.
Francisco's defense has taken major hits. They lost Bosa. They lost Warner. They gave I mean, they're playing well, but they also gave up 24 points to Titans last week, who obviously have major issues. Now, they had a big lead when they did it. It'll be intriguing. They're playing the Colts, who clearly have their problems. I think the Niners will beat the – wait, are they playing the Colts? Yeah, they're playing the Colts.
Yep.
Yeah, the Niners defense should handle the Colts and pick up another win. I just don't know if that Niner defense could slow the Rams down at this point. Healthy, they might be able to. I think it's the Rams. I think the Rams beat the Seahawks in the NFC title game. If I had to pick right now.
Did you mention Warner?
I did. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Warner and Bosa are both out.
Okay.
It's two massive. I mean, that's not just losing 2 starters. That's losing 2 guys who make game-changing plays.
No, I got you.
Yeah. I think that number 1 seed is important, though. If Seattle can hold on to that number 1 seed, and there's no guarantee on that. I think they got Detroit, and I can't remember the next game they have. But if they don't have the 1 seed, I do agree with you 100% that the Rams are the teams, particularly if they get the 1 seed. But if Seattle gets the 1 seed, I mean, I know home field advantage isn't as important, in playoff time, it seems like in the NFL, but still, that's a tough place to play in Seattle. So we'll see.
Seattle is at Carolina this week. Next. I mean, not this weekend, but their next game is at Carolina, and they finish at San Francisco. And I think it comes down to the Ram offense. They throw the ball so well. If you put them at home, on turf, in a dome, in perfect conditions, they're going to be flawless. Whereas if they have to go to Seattle, it could be cold, it could be rainy, it could be windy, it could be a totally different deal. Trying to throw the ball in the wind, good luck with that.
Yeah, well, technically, I don't think SoFi's a dome, but I think you're right.
Yeah, it's a big tent over a field. It's whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, the weather's usually
No, but you're right, though. You're right. It's L.A., so you're going to get better weather there, obviously.
You think,
so.
right, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
What, since you have such a strong connection here locally, what do you think of the Whittingham situation?
I'm taking it from an outside view, okay, used to being on the inside. And obviously you guys are on the inside constantly now. It's weird to me. I mean, it doesn't smell right to me. I get what you were saying, PK, and what you've written and you've talked about he's making this move and he's actually doing it to benefit the program. I kind of look at it and go, man, just common sense. He's the great, arguably, and I don't, not even arguably, he is the greatest long-term coach in University of Utah history. Yeah. And you just had a really good season. Yep, you blew 2 big games, but you had a really good season. He's got the program back on track. And yet he steps down, but then still says, well, I may not be done. So then I'm like, well, then you should just why step down? But to your guys' point, and I'm not criticizing Morgan Scalley for this. I'm just trying to throw a question out there. Obviously, Morgan used some leverage in the Penn State thing to probably help him out. And so I'm not saying Morgan should be blamed for pushing Whittingham out, but the fact that Morgan Scalley, there was people sniffing around him, Kalani in particular, possibly bringing to Penn State, also tells me that I think Scalley kind of wanted the job, or at least I think he was getting, again, outside view, just kind of giving my common sense kind of, realist, slightly, in negative view on
he
this.
wants to be a head coach. He wants to be it now.
Yeah. So how much was Morgan involved in this by floating out and by letting, obviously, Utah know, and they found out that, hey, I think I might go to Penn State with Kalani and make a few million a year. And
the only thing is
saying.
I think that, and this is where you being out of the market might be different. If you were in the market, the prospect of Morgan going to Penn State was completely obvious. Now, it didn't get to that point because Kalani didn't take the job, but like when the pieces on the board started moving, if Kalani went, the next piece is going to be, Jay, what's he going to do? Well, we'll never know because it didn't happen, but I'm sure the assumption is 99.9% of the people think Jay Hill's going to be the head coach at BYU. And then, okay, what's Kalani going to do next? 99.999% chance he's going to call Morgan. And, everybody here, the pieces on the board, they hadn't started moving yet because Kalani hadn't taken the job, but there was no doubt where they were going to move without you having a conversation.
Right.
Yeah, but then that piece, obviously that information gets to the athletic director of the University of Utah.
But he can read it like he can read it like I can read it. But he knows it sitting in his office with the door closed, not talking to anybody. He can figure it out.
So then, though, but to the point of what you guys are talking about, then obviously there's a discussion with Kyle Whittingham. And you know what? And I agree. Kyle Whittingham, if I take your approach, PK, he's making a decision that he wants this program to continue, and he knows long-term he's not going to be at the University of Utah, so Morgan should be. I get all that, but still he was pushed. I mean, he was put in a position where he had to make that decision, and I don't know, and I give him credit for stepping down on that, but I just find it really curious that he has an inkling to still coach. And yes, if I'm a program, and I follow Michigan very closely, my daughter went there. When you pay money to a school, you become a fan of the school. Michigan should talk to him. Now, he won't get that Michigan job because offensively, he's just not an offensive coach. And you have Bryce Underwood sitting there, one of the top prospects.
No.
I
disagree.
I
disagree.
The offense so much over the years. That's the only criticism against Whittingham.
Keep moving the pieces on the board now, though.
He brings Jason back.
Yeah.
Bingo.
They lit it up this year.
42 points a game, top 5 in the country. I'd have to check and make sure that's
and New Mexico's offense was awesome. And hell, he brings Devin Dampier, too, for that matter.
Fact.
They don't need Devin Dampier.
Unless he brings Ficklin, unless he brings both.
No.
Unless he brings both.
That is fair. But it took Whittingham 20 years to finally find an offensive coordinator that he would let run a good offense.
All that Michigan cares is that he's got one next year and he can beat Ohio State. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
Everything else is blah, 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 yada, yada. They got 47 investigations over here. Best thing I read about this was one of the national people, I don't know who to give credit to, said Michigan acts like they're all high and mighty and they're special in the ivory tower, and the last 5 years tells us they're just like the SEC, and that's why they won a championship.
Yeah, of course.
And there it is.
Yeah. You have to cheat to win a title. And under our scenario, Kevin, you basically have Jason Beck coaching waiting. He's your offensive genius. And he's young.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And his wife is bubbly. She had to get off social media. That was predictable in this market because BYU fans were going to eat her alive. And then you've got that situation. No, I can see it. And the thing that Michigan needs right now, above all, is stability and a man who has no controversy. Boom. He ain't hitting on anybody's secretary or any of that. Kyle Whittingham is about as guileless as any coach I've ever been around. This guy is a simple man. Coach football, go home. Go coach football, and then go home again. And that's it.
But here's the thing. I don't think he's definitely not a top 2 candidate, at least everything you look at. I mean, DeBoer is still sitting there.
Well, I think his age works against him. His age works against him, and the fact he hasn't been in that part of the country. Dillingham is young, and you can see him having some long run, and DeBoer for that matter, too.
Yeah.
But it's also easy to see how both of them, how Dillingham and DeBoer stay put. And then what does Michigan do? I mean, who's to say Michigan's going to get one of their top 2 choices?
Yeah, he's a short-term deal.
Penn State didn't get one of their top 2 choices.
SC didn't, and they hired Pete Carroll.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. Look, I'm not opposed to it. I know he'll bring stability in Michigan. He'll get the program righted. If Jason Beck goes with him, then yes, I can see that argument. At least you do have an offensive coordinator that Whit trusts and lets run his offense. He'll obviously, the defense at Michigan's always great anyways, and now you put Whittingham in a defensive system where you're getting the best defensive recruits in the country on a regular basis. And, oh, by the way, you have an NIL of, Michigan, they have so much money, it's ridiculous. So, yeah,
right.
It could, I could see all this argument. If the offensive coordinator goes with him, I would say, okay, that's not a bad 3 to 5 year transition plan for Michigan.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. We'll see.
And then he hires me as chief of staff. My wife's family grew up in Michigan. My mother-in-law went to school in Ann Arbor. And I see it happening, KG.
It all comes back to you, PK.
And then you come here and you take my place.
Oh, yeah, right.
Your fourth trip through town.
Nope, you don't follow greatness. You know what? You're not the man to replace the man. You know what I mean? You gotta give a buffer. So
that's good.
Throw Jake in there or something for a little while, and then I'll come back,
Oh, you just made Jake the sacrificial lamb. You're just wrecking Jake's career. Yeah, you know who did
kidding.
it? But you know who knew the cliche? And who ignored the cliche and said, I'm going to win? Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah.
Don't follow the man. Follow the man who follows the man. That's the cliche. Yeah. And he looked at Urban like, I'll follow him. 22-2. Show no weakness.
He did all right.
You're right.
He did.
Yeah, but in his third year, he was like 500.
Oh, he started 16-13. Early in his third year, he was 16-13.
And then he turned it on.
And then it was go time.
Yeah.
Well, and the Michigan job's perfect for that because you're not following Harbaugh. You're following a dude that apparently slept with the entire Michigan community. So, yeah, you're
that guy gets around.
You're doing a good thing.
Well, on that happy note, Kevin, we got to go. Thanks for that little bit of Christmas cheer.
I know.
Swinging the mistletoe.
All right, you guys have a great time.
All right, thank you, Kevin.
Yeah. Hey,
all right.
You guys have a great weekend. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Kevin Graham joined us here talking football every Friday. DJ and PK, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
For all of you less motivated listeners, it's time for your 9 o'clock. Where the heck have you been headlines?
Where you at?
With DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, time to get you up to date on everything you missed in this show. The Slacker Radio headlines brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call them at 801-210-6800 or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. The Jazz lose. Seattle beats the Rams. The Seahawks have the best record in the NFC, lead the division by a game. Got back-to-back road games now at Carolina and San Francisco. Those aren't gimmies. Those aren't layups. But they are winnable games. Seattle, the NFC playoffs may run through Seattle. I'm not surprised Seattle's having a big year. At the start of the year, I picked them to win the division. I will say that I did that because with everything we heard in the preseason, I didn't think the Rams had a healthy quarterback. So maybe I'll end up making the right pick for the absolute wrong reason.
Would you want him to throw for 600 yards last night?
Well,
450 or whatever
Stafford
it wasn't good enough?
has clearly been healthy, and they were just wrapping him in bubble wrap early on. Stafford has been awesome. If he ends up being the MVP, I don't think anybody should be surprised. He's had a phenomenal season.
Yeah, he reminds me of Aaron Rodgers in his prime.
And if I knew he was going to be this healthy, I'd have picked the Rams to win the division. Now, as it is, he's healthy, and Seattle's now on the verge of winning this division. But they were a 10-win team last year. They were clearly on the way up. They jettisoned some big names, some older players that made money, but the NFL's a league where youth can win. Rookie contracts are a valuable asset, and Seattle appears to have made a bunch of good decisions.
Yeah, but I didn't put that much faith in Darnold.
That I totally agree. And see, when I picked them to win, I'm thinking LA's not going to have a healthy quarterback. And San Francisco's injury issues were already front and center. They were losing skill players. It seemed like that was on the back end. San Francisco and LA have both overachieved what I expected for them at the start of the year. They're going to be 3 double-digit win teams. You can't have the top 3 seeds in the same division, but they may end up being seeds 1, 5, and 6, which is the most you can have, with the 2 best records. And depending on what Philly does and what San Francisco does, maybe they'll have the 3 best records.
Okay.
And I would have never seen that coming. I think San Francisco's overcome the injuries, and I think LA stayed healthier than I expected. But I'm not surprised Seattle's good. But you're right, Darnold in big games makes everybody nervous. They did have a big fourth quarter. Now, having said that, Rashid Shaheed, the former Weber State Wildcat, had a punt return. That wasn't the offense. That was the special teams that got that going. But even in overtime, L.A. scored first. Darnold could have thrown a pick. But he didn't. They went down and scored. And they certainly get.
Oh, he looked great.
3 straight 2-point conversions, and one of them we're all thinking that wasn't a good enough explanation what happened because everybody stopped playing. Everybody saw people stop playing. Even a guy who recovered the fumble didn't really recover the fumble.
I got up and went to the bathroom and came back. What happened?
He picked up a Randall ball that was lying in the end zone.
Yeah. I mean, I had been eating nachos and stuff. I had to go.
Nice. Well, thank you for that vivid detail. Also, the nature of these games and how close they are. A Rams-Niners game was super close earlier. This one, we can try to draw the conclusions we want from the regular season, but the old cliche, it's going to depend on who plays the best in the fourth quarter on that day. Right now, it looks like it's going to be true.
That is the old cliche, and I like new cliches.
Yeah, got a new one for us?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I do. I think it's he's effing good.
New cliche. Thank you. We'll get to the Jazz here in just a second. The NFL picks. You and I made our picks earlier, and Jake has now weighed in. He's taking Buffalo over Cleveland. I've got the 49ers beating the Colts, and you've got New Orleans over the Jets. And New Orleans is coming on a little bit here late in the year.
I know.
And the Jets seem to be floundering, considering that we all have to pick somebody. You can't. You got 18 weeks, and there aren't 18 elite teams. At some point, you got to pick a hot team. Say injuries are going to impact this game, or this mediocre team is going to beat this bad team. At some point, you got to make one of those calls, and you're making one this week.
Yeah. Well, I got to move up in the standings, so I can't pick what you guys are picking.
Right. I got to move up in the standings too. But we've all got different games, so we'll see how that goes. All right, your Utah Jazz with a clutch loss to the Lakers. Scored a bunch of points. A bunch of guys had impressive stat lines. I thought Collier did some impressive stuff. Obviously, Keyonte had another 30-point game. I thought Ace Bailey quietly did a bunch of good things.
Well, Ace Bailey looks like he belongs. He doesn't look like he's overwhelmed, and that's what we're asking for. And the athletic ability clearly is there. We see it. We've seen it. I watched Rutgers play 20 times last year, and so you've got that going on there. And with Jorge, if he continues to do this and we're in March, he's a foundation piece. Now I got 3 foundation pieces.
Kessler, Markin, and Keyonte George. And then Ace Bailey could be 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So you got 4 foundational pieces. Or you don't want to count one of them.
On this team this year.
Because Kessler isn't playing, you weren't counting him.
Right.
But assuming he's back next year, and I know his contract and all that out there.
Yeah, I don't know that.
We don't. We've got what we do know is the Jazz left $60 million worth of cap room. Now they don't want to spend it on Kessler. They've obviously got other plans and other designs, and how do they make the pieces fit?
So I asked Locke.
I would count Kessler just because I think if he goes, then the odds of a sign and trade are pretty good, and you're getting a foundational piece back.
You would think.
Right.
And I understand that logic, and I was going to say that, but you already said it for me. I asked Locke, when are the Jazz going to play on Christmas Day? Because clearly you got to be a really good team to play on Christmas Day. And did he go 28-29? It wasn't 29-30. It was 28-29, right?
Yes. Oh, he said 29. No, I think it's 29-30. 4 years. Christmas Day of 29 versus Christmas Day of 25.
Okay, that's another year I got to wait, man. I'm
well, to his point, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, the Lakers, the Knicks, 4 of the 10 spots are gone. You're not really competing for 10 spots. There's 6 spots left. And it's going to be, there got to be 2 more Eastern teams. I mean, you're going to figure 6, even if it's 6 in the West, 4 in the East. You got the Lakers.
No, have a 10 o'clock Western game, and then they can get home for Christmas dinner.
Lakers.
They need to rethink that.
Lakers.
Be home by Christmas by 4 o'clock. They'll take that.
Lakers, Thunder, Spurs have 3 of the spots locked up for the foreseeable future.
Okay, and when will they get a Christmas home game? That's even better.
Well,
we'd have to go in the 30s.
That just feels like a flip of the coin. Who knows? I mean, whether the game is played.
I think the better team gets it at home, or if you're the Lakers and whatever.
Well, the thing is, if you're going to be a team that's in it repeatedly, LeBron did talk him into why send those teams on the road back-to-back years. You don't have to do that. To which they said, you're right. You don't have to do that. So they do get home games.
If we just go to LeBron, he'll provide the answers. How long have I been saying that?
He did provide that answer. You got to give him credit. Because SGA's over there like, yeah, we're going to be good for a long time, and I don't want to be on the road every Christmas.
Well, he's from Canada. They don't do Christmas, right?
Actually, they do.
They do?
Yeah, I think it's Thanksgiving you're thinking of, PJ.
Oh, okay. I get
Maybe the
those
4th of July is also that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but Christmas, yeah, they do. Yeah.
I thought it was.
They actually are closer.
I thought that was a U.S.
Santa.
thing.
They're closer to Santa. He's got to be either early.
Well, it depends on what direction he's coming from.
Either early on the route or late on the route. You're right.
What a tall tale we sell our children.
Yeah.
So disgraceful. But I was hoping a year or two earlier. But that's probably wishful thinking. But I'm actually going to I'm not going to give that up.
Okay.
Because they'll still be young, but it's more about the level of experience versus the age.
I think that...
And if you're getting a lot of playing time, like Cooper Flagg turns 19 this weekend. Okay, when he's 23, he's still going to be young, but he's going to have 5 years of experience.
And
honestly, it's the same thing with Doncic was.
It's not just the best teams, it's the biggest stars. If the Jazz build a good team, but they build it without a top 10 or 15 player, because they have several guys who are between 25 and 50, maybe you don't have on Christmas Day, even if you have a pretty good team.
Okay, Christmas Eve.
Maybe Dallas isn't
Christmas
great,
Eve,
but
then.
they don't play on Christmas Eve.
Well, they'll be the first breakthrough.
That I wouldn't rule out. There's probably money to be made. And people were like, you can't play on Christmas Eve? Sure. Yeah, they used to think you couldn't play on Christmas Day, and look at us now.
Start the game at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I think that, though, they have the possibility of maybe they don't have a top 10, but do they have 3 in the top 20?
No.
You just rule that out completely. Top 25. How long? I'll go in 5 spot increments.
I do think as you get to between 20 and 30, it gets to be much more of a gray area. There isn't as much separation.
Oh, there's not much separation between 7 and 8. It's just
no. But I think,
opinions.
it is. But I think the difference between player 5 and player 15 can be pronounced. Whereas from 25 to 35, I don't think it is pronounced. You're looking for the pieces of the puzzle to fit together.
Well, if my guy Jorge continues to play like this, they've got 2 this year.
No, he's pretty good.
That's a drop forever. Save it, Christian. That's pretty useful. I think it's useful year-round.
I think that he...
Mammoth player gets a hat trick. Boom, Will Hardy.
Will Hardy created a narrative that doesn't exist.
I'd agree with that. My experience, and everybody moves in different circles. In the circles I move, most of the people I see have been rooting wildly for Keyonte. He was popular before his talent. I think he does.
There's Jazz players they're going to be rooting for all of them.
There's that. And he also has just a certain amount of charisma.
But what knock has there been on him?
About Keyonte?
Yeah.
Well, this year, I don't think there have been knocks. I think universally, people I talk to this year are like, wow, Keontae's taking a big step.
Okay, but even last year and the year before, he was a kid.
Yeah.
So what? He's supposed to have him. He's going to go, you'll be a perfect player?
Yeah, but
1 year in college? That's never been created.
You're off in La La Land. It's like the world isn't fair. Jazz fans are upset, A, with the rebuild, and B, the pace of the rebuild, and they want what they want now.
So Hardy is responding to fans now?
I wouldn't rule it out. I don't know.
He was responding to the blowback he got when the video was shown in the huddle.
Well, I don't know.
George was on the floor at the time, and he was sitting over to his left.
Well, I don't know that. That is super plausible. That is. I mean, I can't prove that, but it's very plausible.
Oh, that's coaching 101.
And in the play right before the timeout, he's in a fast break, kind of bluffs at the guy with the ball, and then goes to defend the guy in the corner, and the guy with the ball gets a dunk, and that is Junior Jazz Basketball 101, stop the ball on the fast break.
And that's fine. You rip your guy, then build him up. You just can't constantly rip, or they tune you out. Now he builds him up publicly, and George has already heard that. I mean, come on. It's clear why he did it, and good on him for doing it.
DJ and PK, your feedback coming up next.